So I still don't need a gun.
I only want a gun because
Episode 103, still don't need a gun. Guys,
we're
me
doing
and Bianca
geometry.
are having a hell of a time over here.
Well, Neal,
with these chairs
we have
and
a
backdrop.
We have a table the shape of a
We
trapezoid.
have a table this is the right shape for this.
It is, but this is a trapezoid, correct?
Yeah, I don't know. To do it over again, I don't know if I get this table. I think I get this table. The thing about this table that no one would guess, very heavy. Like this dumb red top that could be plywood is like made of lead.
Okay.
Bianca, hi.
Hi.
I think, guys, Bianca's, can you feel the energy? She remembered to remember what her week was like.
I remembered, and I reiterated to myself before you came down from your room. And so I was like, I'm not going to blank. The sad part is it's so lackluster. So I visited my friend who had a baby, and I visited the baby. And it's
I believe I saw a picture of it.
I didn't post anything, but that's okay.
You posted a picture of you and a baby on Instagram.
It was a different baby.
Okay. So
I
fuck
visited
me
too.
for even fucking suggesting it. I could not have been more wrong
It was a
to
different
think
baby.
that the baby I saw you with was the baby you visited. Bianca, Neal gonna apologize. Play the song. I should never have thought.
Neal.
Yes, I never should have thought that that there were multiple babies.
Okay, so I a baby visited me, which I forgot about. That's the photo you saw. Then I visited a baby, and then I went to a park, and it was my friend's birthday. We played giant Jenga, and we drank drinks, and we...
In a park? I also saw a picture of you at the beach.
That was the baby that came to me. That was the first baby that you were talking about.
Great.
The second baby was in the valley, and the third hang was at a park. No babies.
Why a park?
COVID, just...
Because you guys are in high school?
And
you have to drink someplace you
everything now is...
can't get caught?
Everything with COVID is...
Smoking cigarettes?
It's like...
Getting lightheaded?
Have you been on a...
Getting fingered?
Okay. Have you been on COVID dates and it's like, do you like to take a walk?
Yeah, but
So
I think
funny.
it's funny.
I love
it's
it.
like, look, lady, here are the options. We can either take a walk or we can go to my house.
Right.
You're gonna feel
Two
bad. Just pick your poison.
Right, it's true. So I feel like now in COVID or post-COVID or wherever we are,
we'll never really be gone.
I don't think so.
I mean, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, but everything's a bit more wholesome, you know?
Yeah, I like it.
I like it too. So yeah, park hangs, everything's great.
You're not forced. Well, I guess you could technically have been forced to sleep with people prematurely because of the
not me.
Come to my house thing. No, not you though.
It's not my favorite word is no.
It's not within your. It's not who you are. It's not how you run it.
I don't get. I don't.
You don't play that.
I've rarely been pressured to. No.
I've
been pressured.
You're a prude and a freak.
I'm a prudish freak.
Yes, I'm gonna go ahead and you're a prude.
I don't like that.
You're a preak?
Yeah, freak.
Okay, you're a preak.
Freak.
Yes.
Okay, so I did okay. I'm actually proud of myself with that recap.
Great.
Neal?
Great recap.
Thank you.
Good job.
Neal, what have you been doing with your three-story life?
On a documentary thing with my friend, of course, Kat, the famous Kat from the podcast. And it's the hardest thing I've ever done. We went to Joshua Tree to just work out there.
Did you just accidentally take ayahuasca?
Well, it wasn't ayahuasca, sweetheart. It wasn't an accident. I don't like, I don't love nature. I do enjoy the desert.
You're so weird.
I do enjoy the desert.
It's so weird that you like the desert of all terrains. I love the desert, first of all, but I'm a lover of the outsides.
Yeah. Well, you party in the park. So
come holla at your girl.
Past 30.
Fuck you. I'm 26.
I'm 19. So I don't know what the fuck is popping. I shouldn't even be here. This is not legal. I don't even have a podcasting license. He did shrooms, and one night. And,
how many? Enough to trip or to just drop?
No, enough to trip. It was whatever.
Did you do one of the gummy ones?
No, he sent me some chocolate ones too. And ayahuasca has opened a new channel of mushrooms.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be vague about it and just say it was fucking wild.
Do you need to do ayahuasca anymore? Could you just do the shrooms and chill?
That's my girl. So
Kid, shrooms be your side chick when you're not
shrooms
like ready
are
to...
like shrooms are the friend who reminds me. It's like when a guy would go to war, the lady that was back home would visit one of his friends or family, maybe more like family. So shrooms are the family, or ayahuasca's cousin. And I'm like, we just get together. Me and shrooms get together and talk about ayahuasca.
Positively or negatively?
Positively. I mean, I live in a different world. You understand this? It's
I can
wild.
tell.
It's wild.
Okay.
That's all I'll say. It's not like...
No, yeah, but it was...
It's just wild.
It was good.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just involuntary, just crazy shit. Yeah, like Spirit Padre is almost too pedestrian a term for where I am. It's a musical note. You can't even say it. Words can't even get to where I am.
You know what's weird? I do want to try shrooms again, but I have a weird eye condition I never told you about called visual snow. Anyways, it's basically I see like static
Visual
television.
Snow is the name of every band that sends a demo in. They never get signed.
Visual Snow.
We are Visual Snow. Welcome to our showcase.
Anyways, I have it. So apparently psychedelics make it a little bit worse. But I didn't notice anything after ayahuasca. But I did notice it once after shrooms. So I'm like, kind of want to, maybe it's worth a little visual snow. It's basically like you see, I see static.
All the time? Mm-hmm. How long, when did that start?
I don't know, like 20 years ago.
Oh, so when you were 6.
I was.
But you were were you scared?
No, it's like slowly. It's not like it's not like I woke up one day and I was in like the 1950s, and it's really.
You like put a jacket on and it's like, what's the matter? And you're like, why it's snowing?
It's such a small.
Snowball fight anyone? And you're just collecting nothing. Handfuls of nothing and throwing them at people. Ooh, got you good. And people are like, what the fuck are you talking about, lady?
No, it's at night. I can notice it more. During the day, it's not really visible.
That would make me feel very sorry for myself.
What?
Any sort of malady like that.
Oh, I don't feel sorry for myself, like ever. Great. So
I have a thing that I wanted to share with the good people. We'll call them the listeners.
Maybe.
That there was a night where this is like for anyone who feels sorry for themselves or suicidal or whatever. Depression, suicide, feeling sorry for yourself. Speaking of which, I did a guy's podcast probably 2 months ago. It was about mental health. Got a DM 2 weeks ago. Killed himself. Jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge.
That's really
literally jumped off. Like I literally Jesus
thought
Christ.
I was like thought you were gonna make a joke like he's doing better.
No. No.
Oh no.
Yeah,
that's
just
awful.
like unbelievable. So anyway, this is the thought I had on plant medicine one time, which is if you're feeling sorry for yourself, if you think like this life sucks, everyone's got it better than me. The thought I had, and I wasn't even feeling especially sorry for myself, it's just more of a general thing, is, all right, there's 8 billion possibilities on Earth, right? 8 billion different lives. If you think you can beat yours, spin the wheel and try.
Well, isn't spinning the wheel and trying killing yourself?
Kind of, but it's not. What I'm saying is even not spinning the wheel, like even not killing yourself, if it's, my next thought was like, oh, I'm not going to beat this life.
Right. Or like, just go volunteer in fucking poverty.
Yeah.
tell me if you're happy. Like, you know, I don't know. How do people get appreciation and gratitude if chemically it's really hard for them?
Think about spinning the wheel. Okay. Literally think about spinning the wheel. Like, could I beat this life easily? How many lives are better than mine versus how many lives are worse than mine?
Yeah.
Out of 8 billion. It's a lot of people with worse lives. If you're listening to this, just the fact that you're listening to this is that you have enough money to buy the equipment to hear
right.
And
right.
The equipment's like, what do you mean, a phone? Yeah. The phones, a lot of people don't have them.
Right.
So, like, you know, it's hard, but appreciation's incredibly hard to come by.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I never feel bad for myself. I always blame myself for anything bad that happens. I'm just like, let's find a way how the responsibility is on you. I don't like putting the responsibility on other people, you know? So when I feel bad for myself, I'm like, it's got to be pretty bad. But I guess I never thought that feeling bad for yourself was a part of depression.
Yeah. You really feel bad for yourself. And
in like a pity way, like
sometimes.
Okay.
And like I suck.
Oh, okay.
And then kind of like, this sucks. Everyone's having fun but me. Everyone's joyous. Everyone's having fun. It just, I'm not, what's wrong with me? And then you just pile on there.
Got it.
I also did Comedy Store comedy. I did indoor comedy.
Top tier comedy.
Indoor fucking comedy. Saturday night, Comedy Store, main room.
Was the table weird?
Yeah, I don't know what it was for. There's a table.
It's for. I'll tell
there's
you.
Like a buffet table on the stage that I guess you're supposed to stay behind. No one knew though.
Yeah, that's so funny. Well, when they first explained it to us, I thought that was going to be set. I'm like, why is there a table on stage? No, it's to make sure it keeps the comic at the required distance for the city. So if you went further than that, you would technically be in splash zone.
I don't want to say what I did.
Okay.
I was in the
Don't say it.
I was in the splash zone.
If you moved the table, you're in the splash zone.
Okay. They didn't. No one knew. I said, "What is this for?" And no one said anything.
That's very silly.
And then literally, Leslie followed me and she was like, "What the fuck is it?" No one told us, "Hey, there's going to be a table."
Also, but it's more funny when you guys make fun of something.
Of course.
So
no, it's the best thing that can happen is when I make fun of something. It's kind of I make the table's life. The table's never going to forget it. Table's been going to be talking about the night on stage at the Comedy Store for the rest of its table life.
Did you like it? Was it weird?
It was so much easier.
Was it better than the wall of mirror
than fucking all the shows I've been doing?
What do you mean? Even the outside shows?
Yeah.
But are they in their cars or are they sitting?
No, they're sitting, but it's just, where would you rather give a speech? In a with walls and a ceiling, or just nothing, sirens, wind, cold? It's like, or 71, everyone's facing toward you, no distractions.
Bellissimo.
Beautiful. And the laughs wouldn't escape. A lot of times I get laughs.
You're like, no, they're escaping.
The laughs will get in the wind, and I need them. I need those laughs, and they get away. So I did somebody. I won't even get into it.
Come on.
No, it's not. It's
like
just the same old argument.
It.
I tweeted a picture. Do you see my Anne Frank Instagram?
Oh, we shouldn't get
people
into
were
it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sorry,
people didn't like it. I mean, people loved it, except 4 people complained, and it's like, well, and I just kept saying, you didn't have a problem with the slavery sketches that are streaming on Netflix right now. No, not a bit of problems. Yep, it was Twitter karate, and my heart rate, my blood pressure did not go up because I'm at least a black belt in Twitter karate.
So you're good. Like, how many followers did you
lose? None.
Okay.
Lost none. May didn't gain, but didn't lose.
May didn't gain.
May have gained 50. Now that I think of it. So, guys, if you want to get followers, either show your ass or do Holocaust jokes. Either one.
They kill.
Whoa, it's groans.
It's groans.
Now, Biden gave a speech.
Sure did.
And the headline is, it doubled the Oscars ratings, which is like Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, wow, they really didn't want to. They'd rather watch an old man talk than watch cool, sexy people.
Other way. You said it doubled the Oscars. It
doubled the Oscar ratings. They'd rather watch an old man talk than watch cool people. It got twice what the Oscars got.
Oh, I thought you were saying it doubled the Oscars rating.
It did.
Okay, I know we're saying this. It's just the grammar. I thought you were saying it boosted the Oscars rating.
No. Yeah, I got it.
No. So many people went.
So many people were so much more interested in Joe Biden than Nomadland, if you can believe it. Somehow. I was thinking of Chris Rock did a remote when he hosted the Oscars where he went to the Magic Johnson Theater and asked people what they thought. I remember that was so funny. They were just like, what? They're like, what? What movie is this? Movies. But I was when I was in Joshua Tree, I was gonna go to people in RVs and be like, "Are you excited about Nomadland winning? It's finally you get to speak.
It's you."
By the way, there's there's many controversy.
Tell me
that an Asian Chinese woman directed the movie, and it's like, so wait, she can tell the story. She can tell a story about poor white people, even though she's a rich Asian woman. Huh. That's a new one.
But what's that a counter to?
That only certain people can tell certain stories.
Well, I mean, that's not true because think of all the things that we've watched so far up until this point. They haven't all been told by it's mostly white men writing black gangster movies.
Now they are.
No, yeah, now they are. But
what I'm saying is now they are, but it's just one of these interesting. So anyway, I saw the clips of Biden's speech.
Yeah, I'm not fucking sorry. I'm not watching any. I don't know. Presidential speeches are always so boring.
Yeah,
and you'll get them. You'll just get the highlights.
Yeah, he did have first guy to ever do it with two women behind him.
Oh,
which sounds sexist.
I know,
but it's actually the opposite of that.
You did this, and it.
Yeah, I did that. I did the horns. I did the QAnon horns. Two women behind him, Speaker of the House, Vice President, and that's never happened before. And as far as I'm concerned, it better not happen again.
Neal pissed, y'all.
Or where there's going to be an insurrection too.
What was funny is how the GOP takeaways were the GOP takeaways from his speech were just transport yourself back to a bad relationship where you're talking and the person takes one thing is runs with it and you want to pull your hair out. The no meat thing was so weird.
I think that was before that. I think it was before the speech.
Is when he addressed Congress.
Yeah. And then they said that he's going to have an embargo on hamburgers. Which is so dumb.
This is so
But
funny.
they just go, fuck it. Let's see. It's
hamburger embargo
literally red
2021.
Meat. Yeah. It's just so dumb. But it is funny. There's a big restaurant in New York, 11 Madison, that's going no meat. And there's a feature in the New York Times that's going no meat. The culinary, whatever, the main cooking thing is going meat free.
Forever?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. You're a climate denier if you eat the meat. Guys,
breathe.
I'm sorry, but you're a climate denier and and you've also depleted the ocean. But yeah, it's so good. I syndicated that one.
Yes.
So my point is with Biden's doing something that is kind of amazing. Biden is basically, Trump was, say, the little Duval of social media. And Biden is the Frank Ocean of social media. Doesn't talk about it, just does some shit quietly. And all the shit he's doing, it's not noisy. It's not, they don't even really debate it. He's just going I want $4 trillion. And then, I don't know. And then it's not a big problem. It's just, he's doing shit. He's doing a lot of shit almost, it's not secretly, it's not executive orders, but he's so boring. They don't even cover the laws he makes.
Also, high approval rating.
Yeah. Well, because it's people just, like when you give them money. It's a bit like telling my mom ayahuasca made me love her more.
Right.
It's hard to argue with that.
Right. And also
53.4% approval rating.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. It's probably at least 8 points higher than Trump was.
At his highest, I think. Mm-hmm. No?
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, no, it's very, people like boring politics now. Right now we want boring politics and we want a little bit of stability. And it's funny when people call Joe Biden, you know, like he's half dead. He doesn't know what's going on. He's true. Right. All those things. But I'm like, even a half dead motherfucker got us on the right track in 100 days. So was it hard or was that guy fucking up that bad? You know?
Yeah, the other guy was an imbecile.
Yeah.
And the thing with Biden is it's like a body switching movie in that he's runs counter to everything he stood for his entire life. He's been like a hawk. He's been a deficit hawk. He's been a war hawk. He's been a deficit hawk. He's been kind of didn't care about inclusion, didn't care. Yeah. And now it's like that guy doesn't exist.
And he truly doesn't exist. Like I really,
he doesn't, it's not like they're twisting his arm. He's just like, well, okay, I'll do that.
Like, let's just go with this. And then I'll make policies to back up the thing I said I would do.
Like you guys want actual morality? Okay. I was going with like Catholic, ride the train and folksy morality. And my son went to Georgetown and this is like, you want actual morality, not just lip service to Christianity.
It's really funny. Some of my friends are very, very, very far left. And a few of them, maybe in his first month, are like, there's still kids at the border. What the fuck are you going to do about that? Biden lies, da da da. And it almost makes me, not everything should be done very quickly. You know, and I don't know exactly what's going on at the border to make a determination, but I also don't want kids to be just let out very quickly to the first person. Like, I didn't understand why we weren't being patient. Not we, but when I see those opinions, I'm like, dude, give him this is a huge fucking country. Mm-hmm. I like what he's doing. I'm like, yeah. And then as soon as they obviously like raising awareness and bringing it to like saying like, you ran on this. So what the fuck are you going to do about it? Like, that's good. I like holding their feet to the fire, but then it's like today I read an article that they're already starting to reunite families with. I'm like, just anything towards improvement that you said you would do. It's like most politicians don't do that shit. You know, most politicians run and get to a quarter, maybe 50% on what they said. So I like that. I mean, I'm not sure what the
I don't think anyone's mad. I mean, even AOC's like, he's exceeding my expectations. But she did it when she was getting a bikini wax. She did a live.
And then you
Instagram
were like,
live.
ew, why is she doing that?
Why is she doing that? The shit like the border, it's like, ask those friends exactly what should happen. Tell me exactly what, I'm going to send a kid to your house. What are you going to do? When the kid doesn't speak English, is crying, is dysregulated, is upset and disoriented. Now what? What are you going to do? And it's, again, the thing I would say about with immigration, ask the same people once they give you a fake answer on that. How many immigrants should we let in a year?
Right.
And how do you come to that number? It's a fucking fake. They just go, it's wrong. Yeah, it's wrong. It was wrong for them to come here. The world's fucking crazy. And it was wrong that they needed to leave the country. It's like, it's a domino effect of wrong. So do we have to then just accept everything and not like welcome immigrants, but it's like, how many? Once you actually, other than like, that makes me feel bad.
Right. That's the thing. But are you doing the actual research to understand how? If the problem was easily solved, it would have been
solved.
So, but yeah, I'm liking a nice, boring, chill president.
Yeah, just like a sedative. He's on. It's the
You
Quaalude.
just sounded like
Quaalude
him.
president. Look.
His train speech was cracking me up.
When he yells, "Look," he's in trouble. What I'm afraid is he's gonna drown at some point. He's just gonna keep yelling, "Look," instead of "Help," because that's his go-to thing. He's gonna be getting stabbed. Look. Kamala, do you see Kamala? So Tim, the Republican guy, said America wasn't racist. He had to.
Yeah, what is his? That is his only purpose.
Tim Scott, he had to.
Funny thing is, he said the progressives on the left call me the N-word. This is not a racist country. Okay.
Well, that's funny. I didn't know he said that.
Yeah, he's like,
what about the progressive? It sounds like they are.
He said, I know what it's like. So don't tell me they call me coon, they call me nigger, and this is not a racist country. I'm like, come on, man. Oh, so close.
Yeah, where's this in Canada? Because if they call you that, and he also said one time he's gotten pulled over 7 times in a year.
It's like, Tim.
Yeah, Tim, it's okay.
You're okay.
It's not you. He thinks it's him. He thinks America's not a racist country. I'm just a piece of shit.
The one person to
again,
take it.
Tim, I'm right there with you. Now for Kamala to hop on that bullshit.
Why can't we just say, it's so weird that like calling something racist is something we reserve to the last, like, don't know. We got to be really sure if it's racist. It's word
looting. Don't loot. Saying America's racist is like the red line where it's like, don't you dare say it. So why not?
It's racist.
Red line. What do you think red line? Like, what do you think all this shit? How else would you describe it? It's not a mix-up.
Voter suppression. It's
not a mix-up.
But I don't get why are we not just calling it racist?
Here's what her and Biden
not
are doing.
Like I understand.
Here's what I think her and Biden are doing. They're gonna legislate like the leftiest lefts who'd ever left, right? Mm-hmm. But they're gonna talk like centrists.
Right, to not scare
anybody. So they're just not, and they're also not going to give the right anything to work with.
Yeah, because they're like,
because the right doesn't really, they don't have any ideas legislatively. And Trump did not, he lowered taxes, that's it. And the wall. But that's like the wall was
he lowered
nothing.
Taxes for
the rich people, yeah. So they don't have any legislative moves. So they just have word moves. They have like, the left is saying blank. So I think Biden and Kamala are just going like, no, thank you.
Well, it's also like, well, if we had 4 years of people lying to our face about one thing, I mean, no, it's not racist. Like, I don't. Yeah,
if what she's doing is almost like, you could say she's like gaslighting conservatives. Racists. Yeah, like she's gaslighting conservatives where it's like, no, there's not racism here. What are you talking about?
You're a good
like,
person.
We're going to pass a George Floyd anti-violence bill, but not because of racism. Oh. It's just because of guy had gravelitis, as we all know.
And what is it? Exhaust pipe.
He had acute gas pipetivity. Gas pipetivity. Gauze pipe.
Gauze
pipe. He had windpipe gas pipe.
Stop saying gauze.
So I actually kind of like what I like. Kamala strikes me as smart enough to know what she's doing.
They know. Yeah. Everyone knows. Whatever you say, well, I don't know what. Maybe Tim doesn't know.
Tim doesn't know.
Tim doesn't know. I was like, wait a minute.
But Kamala is smart enough to it's like, don't give him any ammunition. And I think they believe that people on the right people on the right and the center, and I'm going to go ahead and say the left, are tired of hearing what pieces of shit they are. They're just tired of it.
Is this you?
I'm officially tired of hearing what a piece of shit I am.
Okay.
So So yeah, like just give
do
him,
something
give
about
him a break.
it and don't
Give him a rest. So anyhow, you got that COVID. COVID's
say what?
COVID gone wild. I have India no good.
No.
India's not doing good.
India's doing so bad. It's extremely
yeah, their
sad.
7-day average of new cases per day is 373,000, which is astounding, even in a country that big.
They said they're on the brink of collapse and just people dying in the streets.
Yeah. When India says, hey, the streets are about to get wild, believe it. Because the streets are already wild in Egypt.
Gauze.
Where the fuck am I now?
Gauze pipe.
India. Neal. Get your racism straight.
Neal, say your name 3 times fast.
If shit is wild in India, shit is wild. Because it's already wild. So the fact that we're I mean, what do you do? They're sending shit now, which I'm happy about. They're sending oxygen and they sent 1 million vaccines, but they need 1 billion, you know?
They need all they need all the vaccines that have been distributed
that Americans
so far.
won't take. We'll get to that in a second. So they were actually, you know how like in countries where there's like a martyr, they'll put they'll make a poster and like a flag poster. They actually, in India this week, they had posters of Joe Rogan because they were so excited about what he said, encouraging Americans not to take the vaccine because they know we get those vaccines now. Thank you, Mr. Joe. Imagine the line, thank you, Mr. Joe, but if a poo said it.
Okay, Neal.
Okay, I'm not going to do the accent, but imagine, thank you, Mr. Joe, in that voice. So yes, you were saying, darling?
I just think the world is going to be dealing with COVID for a very long time.
Yes.
It's not going away just because apparently the best place to be in the entire world is in California. So
in terms of COVID rates, really?
We're the
best. I think Australia's probably doing better than us, but
who wants to be in Australia though? I mean, in a good place.
Australia's pretty good. Australia's pretty high on my backup list.
Really? Australia? Why?
Melbourne and Sydney have good climates.
Okay.
And I like Australian women.
Really?
Just generally speaking,
you like when they talk like this,
attitudes.
Neal.
I like their attitudes. They're not prissy about it.
Right, Neal.
You know what I say? They're human first, women second.
Do you say that?
I do say that.
Originally,
it was about European women. But I say to the women of Australia, I will come eventually, and it will be wonderful when we finally meet, and I make fun of stuff. The local, that's how we're different.
I don't think you're gonna like Australia.
Have you been?
No. Just like you haven't.
No, but I can't explain it. Like you see it and you go, yeah, I would like it there.
But you know how many insects and outside their outside is extreme.
They don't have an outside, I heard. Wait, they got an outside there?
They're outside. They have the most outside.
But you know what kind of outside they have? What? Ding dong. They got the dry red and yellow one that Neal likes a lot.
Neal, their outside comes inside spiders this big, scorpions, snakes.
That I don't care about. The neighborhood kangaroo fights, that's cool. My MMA.
No, that's cool.
Those fucking kangaroos scrapping on your lawn.
That's so not ever
That's
happened.
Every day, y'all. That's all day, that's 24/7. That's that life.
I want you to go to Australia, and we have to have one show dedicated to your time there.
We have 2% of our audience from Australia.
Hey,
I love the Australia. I like Australian women.
They seem cool.
This is the guy. Oh no, no. There's a guy. You ever see the
guy
parachutes?
And then
a guy parachutes down and kangaroos immediately jump him because they're like, yeah, no. We're not.
Have you
doing
seen
that.
the guy that punched him because the kangaroo was fucking with his dog?
Yeah.
That's very funny.
Oh
my God, this is so...
Fast
so he's
forward a little.
parachuting down.
But what's funny is he saw them coming and was like, I gotta get
here
the
they
fuck
are.
out
They're
of here.
bouncing.
Oh,
they're bouncing.
shit. That they
Oh,
boop,
hell no.
Boop. The fuck? We don't
got him.
from around
Oh my
here.
God, that's so frightening.
We don't play that parachute shit.
Literally just
Wonderful.
attacked him.
Kangaroos, you will be my friends. And we will have a wonderful, and I will have sex with 3 different Australian women over 1 month.
Neal.
I wish. I had an Australian girlfriend for a while.
Yeah. Did you like it?
Yeah, she's cool. Anyhow, did you see that cops, this is the best,
What?
Cops are afraid of getting shots. Cops are averse to the...
They're always afraid in the most random times.
But it's also like, I thought you loved shots. Have I misread the news? I thought you guys were all about shots. Now you don't. They had first access, and their vaccination rates are lower than or about the same as those of the general public. And they've had access for like months longer.
So now what if a cop comes to your window? Can you be like, nah, dude?
Yes, you can. I mean, I should amend that. If you're white.
Yeah, I was like, do not lead our Australians astray.
Guys. I'm sorry. If you're white, of course. Yeah, I'm not. It's like, having said that, I think they have to wear masks when they approach your car.
Okay.
And
fine.
they're outside.
Yeah.
So, and plus the cops don't have the balls to pull me over. That's one of my favorite jokes to do. Is when a cop's following me and then he just turns off. I go, didn't think so, coward.
Just to yourself, to your silent audience.
Yeah, to my unseen audience. That I put a camera in my car to log jokes like that, but it's too big of a pain to get them off. I had big plans for for nealbrennan.com.
The lost tapes.
It really could have been something, guys. Anyhow.
What do you mean no more herd immunity?
We're not going to get there.
How do you know?
Google it. It's headlining the Times and the Post today. We're never going to get there.
We were promised herd.
We weren't.
Reaching herd is unlikely.
Unlikely.
You fuckers.
There's too many variants in America. It's basically going to be the flu, which is fine. They just have to keep vaccinating the old.
The old.
Yeah. And it's kind of seasonal like the flu. And it's manageable.
Well, here's the thing. When any population of any species gets bigger and bigger, you just get more diseases and viruses to take them out. It's just what happens. So I feel like we're probably going to have more of this in the future, besides coronavirus. Now it's going to be, and then Neal's face is
sweetheart.
So good.
I don't know why I'm calling you sweetheart today.
You do that.
I've done 2. I don't call you sweetheart on the air very much.
You do it when you're.
Off the air, it's all abuse.
You do it when you're being, you're about to when you're being condescending.
When I'm being condescending, yeah, it's signal.
Yeah.
Put your windshield up. Daddy's getting ready to be condescending.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be manageable. And the sad thing is we're gonna have to keep talking about this fucking thing for forever. It's
just a ripple effect. And then there's gonna be places in Africa and Latin America and island nations.
Stay away from travel warnings.
Or, they just don't get it's going to take them years to get a vaccine. Mm-hmm. And I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just really highlighting and exploiting how we as human beings aren't doing a good job of taking care of each other.
Well, this, like I said last week, I don't hear anyone in the West complaining about hoarding vaccines.
I've heard some people saying, I think we even talked about it, but I heard it outside of us. All the anti-vaxxers, just cool. You have a month to get a vaccine, or you have 2 months, and then there will be no more vaccines for you until. Oh, that's great.
No, but I'm saying people on the left who are all about, privilege and all that stuff. When they got a little vax privilege, they were kind of fine with it.
Oh yeah, American supremacy, was so clear.
Yeah,
when we had all the vaccines.
Yeah, they have no problem. Somehow, they got vaccinated from their morals. That's one of the side effects is your morals. You kind of have it before, and then when you get it, you really have it. Which good for y'all. See, that's why just admit that you're kind of immoral. Just make your life easier. Make your life easier. I'm kind of sexist. Join us. Kind of sexist, kind of racist, kind of bigoted. It's fine. I'm working on it, but it's hard.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm joking. Relax. You're so defensive.
No, because I spoke to Kat about this weekend because we're like working a lot, like fucking, and I was kind of saying that as a guy now, almost every interaction I have with a woman now, I'm screening myself for sexism all the time. Every single.
Does it come up back positive?
Well, no, it doesn't. It's not.
I don't feel like you're an actively sexist guy.
I know, but when you read all the woke shit, what you walk away with is like, I'm a fucking virulently racist, sexist bigot.
Yeah.
And I personally am on the low end of it, but I still, because my diet is just, I'm trying to do a joke. Like my mom last year read a book called I'm a White Piece of Shit.
She did not.
No, she didn't. But like, that's basically like everyone on the left was reading these fucking,
that's
like,
really funny.
You're a white piece of shit, basically.
I like it.
So I just, every interaction with a non-white person, I'm like, ha 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 ha, ah. And it just gets, I'm just complaining about it. I'm not going to change.
Okay.
But I am complaining. And then you don't help with that tone.
Okay.
With that, okay.
Screen yourself, Neal. Screen.
You're getting your screen on
Where's
my screen.
My screen?
Okay, so I mentioned it in the India, but Joe Rogan, I don't know if you saw the clip.
Friend of the show,
Friend of the show,
Joe.
promo of the show, has had me on when we first started.
His background's gotten so tech. It's like barbecue joint, Texas.
I know.
It's too fun.
It's one of those things where this is why you shouldn't let guys decorate anything.
Yeah.
You just shouldn't. Like guys don't have, I do it a joke that men decorate like fugitives from the law. Like we just decorate like we don't know how to do it. And the stuff we do know is like wood and neon.
Right.
It's just based on when guys put together colors, we think about football teams or we think about sports teams.
It's
like
always primary
orange,
colors.
blue.
Always primary colors.
That's like the Bears. and then reclaim wood has been a boon for men in the last 10 years. Totally. And then of course neon and Texas. I'm sure somebody made it for him.
No, I know it. It's just funny.
Yes.
Like he is really in Texas right now.
So he said it was taken out of context. I don't know the exact. The bigger issue is to me.
He said, well, just tell him what he said. He said.
So Joe said that if he were going, if a 21-year-old, a healthy 21-year-old who was like healthy asked him if they should take the vaccine, he would say no. Now, that's wrong. That is scientifically wrong. To the point that Fauci said something about it, which is fucking hilarious. Like a bunch of people, and the press secretary at the White House said something about it, about Joe's quote specifically. Now, the funny thing is, this is not Joe's fault.
No.
It is the fault of institutions. This happened to Jon Stewart.
Right.
Around 2000, 2001, 2003, Jon started to realize that young people were getting their news from him. And I know specifically he fought it for a little bit and then was finally like, fuck, all right.
I mean, you came home from school and you turned on The Daily Show.
I wasn't in school. Thanks. Yes, I wasn't in school. You came home from working on Chappelle's show and you went to sleep. You didn't want to watch Comedy Central. It was kind of the last thing you wanted to watch, as a matter of fact. So, like the fact checker, there's a guy that works in the Daily Show named Chods who's been there probably before the absolute fact checking thing that I'm talking about. Before John was like, "Fuck, all right."
Who hosted it before John?
Craig Kilborn.
Oh yeah.
So nobody. It wasn't.
That
it was just like a
silly.
lot of entertainment jokes and then so it's a failure of church, media, government, and that's why all the comedians. And this is part of the thing I'm working on. That's why comedians are so exalted and so listened to for vaccine advice, because they're not in the pocket of pharma, whatever.
Government,
pharma.
anything.
Yeah, but everyone in the government's in the pocket of pharma.
Yeah.
Everyone in pharma are just greedy. Everyone in church were fucking children. And everyone in media are in it for themselves.
Yeah.
So, and I think people slowly realize that. It's like Chris's joke in Saturday Night Live. Like, the reason he never saw Walter Cronkite in shorts. But everyone has to be an entertainer now. It's just like a fucking degradation of the whole thing. So, a guy like Joe becomes people's main source of a ton of information. And Joe himself has his own biases and stupid opinions. Like he said the next day, I don't even listen to myself.
Right. He's like, that was me. What did he say? He was like, that was like, don't listen to me, I'm a moron. So, like, something like.
He's like, he basically said, I don't even listen to myself. Which is a bit of what John pled for a while and just finally put the sword down and was like, okay, this is a new show. It's a new show that, I need to be funny, but it's got to be vetted more than I'm vetting it before. So Joe's never going to do that because the appeal of the show is it's just a guy talking.
Well, also it's the fact that there's also an issue of the fact that why is Joe saying an opinion on his podcast I know why it is, but that's a problem. I mean, Joe can have one opinion one day and just change it. He did it on Bernie. He did it on Trump. I mean, he's just a guy.
He's just a guy.
He's just a guy. But we talked about it before, how we just elevate celebrities to this deity status where it's like, well, Joe said it. And because so many people do that now, when he says something, Fauci's got to respond.
Yeah.
That's so weird. Mm-hmm. Like, let Joe have his fucking opinion without us all losing our shit. Like, even when he said
popular,
he's too popular, but even when he said Bernie, even when he said Trump, then vaccines, then
Bernie was a hard one for his audience. There are things where he's like all in for Bernie, right? And then a portion of an audience is like, I'm not voting for some old Jewish socialist.
Right.
Whereas Trump was
that's better.
What do you mean?
It's good that people can discern between Joe Rogan's opinion and their own.
Yes, but that normally it's Joe will say, I'm voting for Trump because Biden's old, which was factually true, but I don't think that was a good enough reason to not vote for him. And people can, a lot of these media outlets, a lot of bubbles that we all live in, Fox News, even MSNBC for the left, they are skinny mirrors for what we want to think about our body.
Right.
So I don't want to I don't want to schedule a vaccine. I don't want to go. I don't like needles. And then Joe goes, I wouldn't get it if I was a healthy 21-year-old. And you go, I'm 40 and fat, but close enough. Close enough. I didn't want to get it, and now I have a reason not to get it.
Yeah.
I don't even worship Joe. It's just a guy that they're like pretty cool with.
Yeah, they like.
Yeah. So.
But it's just interesting how you outlined where people are getting their news from. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know people who are the biggest fans of you that they listen to our podcast for our take and more importantly, your take on news. And then they take your opinion and that's where they center themselves around in their friend. They're good people. But they, and then that's their opinion in their friend group.
Yeah. No, I get that's Jim Jeffries did that joke of like, you say the things I want to say, but don't have the guts. It's like, no, you didn't think of it.
Yeah.
I did. And it's not guts. So the only difference between you and me is guts.
Right.
So you thought of Jim Jeffries' gun control bit. You just didn't have the balls to say it.
Yeah. And I know people who do that listen to the podcast that regurgitate your opinion because they trust you enough to vet your
That was
opinion.
what I was hoping you would do, but boy, was I wrong. Go ahead. Boy, was I ripped off. One of the biggest catfishes of all time. Hey.
So they take your opinion, but because they already feel like you will do the vetting for the opinion.
That's and I think people
I
think
get
that
it.
about Joe. And
no, 100%. It's like, well, Joe brings on he doesn't bring on a doctor, he brings on the number one doctor in that field, you know.
But then he'll also bring on the guy.
Alex,
right. He'll also bring on the guy who's not a doctor.
Of course.
Or is kind of a doctor, but not a medical doctor. And
right.
then he'll have opinions, and then people will go, that's easier and flatters me more. That's the skinny mirror I'm looking for, where like, ooh, I'm skinny now. I don't have to do shit.
Yeah.
And I'm a different kind of skinny mirror.
Yeah, it's all skinny mirrors, but it's I don't know. It's interesting how.
But the thing I'll say, I will acknowledge my biases. It's like last week where I was like, I have a confession to make. I'm going to side with black people a lot more than most people would because I can't not. Like it's not even anything me and Dave ever discussed. Like, I need to side with black. It's just, I can't, So, guys, take my black opinions and just knock 40% off of them, and that's where you're gonna. And then regurgitate that. But it's not Joe's fault, and he has a different opinion about the responsibility, what responsibility he has, and should he correct for this size of an audience. Because I don't think it's like, it would be like NWA getting very popular and be like, maybe not fuck the police.
Right.
Maybe not fuck the police.
Right. It's
just like, we have problems. Just say there's tension.
I think Joe's opinion, I think Joe would have that opinion, and it would be roughly the same show if it was popular or unpopular.
That's the point. He's not changing.
Right.
I've known him 30 years. He's not, this is who he is.
Right.
So he is. So should he be required to change because he's now
extremely popular?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I can make an argument yes and no. I'm way more in the no column. He should not have to change, but I could 30% of me is like, yeah, maybe if you're saying shit that gets, if you're that big of a voice, but then it's not fun.
It's not fun. And, he also did a bunch of things that were also popular besides his podcast. And no one was asking, and still was the same person. You know what I mean? It wasn't like Fear Factor guy. You know what I mean? Like, I think we'd care a lot less if.
I wanted to change back then. I thought it was rude that he kept asking people to eat moose eyeballs and testicles and stuff. But Tyrone Biggums. Buffets, I don't know if you saw. Back. Dude,
shut up.
May 7th, New Jersey. Buffets are back.
Only in New Jersey?
Bianca may not be here next week, guys. She's gonna be at Golden Corral.
You're gonna be at Freehold, New Jersey.
In Freehold. She'll be signing plates. Tiny ones are $5. Big ones are $10. She'll be signing them at the Freehold Golden Corral. Because they realized nothing's from the surface.
And
COVID's from the surface.
More importantly, even the small amount that were from surfaces, very rarely was it from food. Like almost was never from food.
Right, but was it from tongs?
I think the buffet isn't going to be everyone grabs the same tong.
Why not?
It's going to be one person doing it with gloves and PPE. PPE? I don't remember.
It's not the same, obviously. It's not the same.
What's your problem?
Bareback Rawdog buffet, which maybe I'll open Neil Brennan's Bareback Rawdog buffet.
Meatless buffet.
Meatless
Yummy.
buffet. Because I'm not a climate denier.
Anyways, the thing is, So at Whole Foods, the buffet area now is one guy who's trapped. He's trapped between two buffet things.
Yeah.
And he'll give you what you want. I know.
I don't know.
But okay, but what about when you get, oh, you're going to not like this, but when you get a slice of prime rib.
Oh. Yeah, let me go in my Wayback Machine.
Go back to Norbit.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. It's carving station. It's omelet station. It's carving station.
What's the problem with that?
I don't like waiting for those people.
Gosh,
I want
Neal.
exactly. Here's the other thing. I want that strawberry.
Yeah,
I want
I'm like that.
I want specific. I don't want if strawberry. I am when it comes to strawberries. I am a segregationist. No whites. I don't want any
like
white shit on the white inside top cap.
White cap.
No white.
No
caps. No white caps on my strawberries. Don't want it. Do not want it, guys. Bring that in your friend group. Spread it around. Caps. No white caps. Yeah. So
I'm so excited.
I was excited
Vegas?
for you.
What's going on in Vegas?
A lot of people are booking shows in Vegas. I know that.
Vegas has been back. I feel like secretly.
Now it's like very back.
It's like we kind of never stopped a little bit.
Yeah. They shut down for like maybe 6 weeks, but not. And no one was really going, but I think now they're going.
Oh, I think this summer is going to be
wild.
COVID 2021, baby.
I think it's going to be, and guys, you just so you know, you can catch HPV and COVID on the same weekend.
I thought the vaccine was for both, 2 for 1.
Nah.
No?
You got what's the other one? The HPV one?
Oh, that's a
Gardasil.
EpiPen. What?
Gardasil.
Gardasil.
That's the EpiPen. No. EpiPen's from when you're having an allergic reaction.
Well, don't ask me to help you when you need something done.
If Joe Biden, he's going to go look, and you're going to hit him with an EpiPen. Meanwhile, he's got HPV.
He said, look when he gets...
Yeah, when anything bad happens, he goes, look.
I learned a lot.
Well, you got to replace I learned a lot with look, because it took me 5 episodes before I knew who that was of.
Oh, really? I knew it immediately.
I had no idea who that was.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
That's a good one.
No, that's great.
Because no one else has ever said Corn Pop.
It's true.
Who wasn't in Riverdale.
Look.
Bill Gates.
That's not on the list.
No, I just wrote it down extra because it's such hot, fresh news.
Tell me.
Getting divorced.
No. Melinda?
He is going to be fucking crushing so much
hot.
puss. He is going to be
I became Binky Gates?
He's going to need his own vaccine for the amount of STDs he's going to get.
So much Gardasil.
Which again, ladies, if you want to be incredibly rich, marry a dork and wait. That's all you got to do.
Imagine if that dork, though. Imagine if the wrong dork.
I know, you picked the wrong dork. You picked the wrong dork. That's on you. But if you pick the right dork and give it a second, you will.
Oh my God. What happened? What's the tea? Hot goss. Tell me.
He's a crabby little guy, I think.
Ask your one friend.
I don't know anyone who knows. I mean, Trevor knows him a little bit.
The $1 billionaire guy.
He doesn't know that one.
Oh, he doesn't know that one.
I said something to somebody about Trevor. He might be, if there was one guy in the world, Trevor Noah, that more women in the world want to sleep with, he might be on the top 5. I'm talking about in the world: Africa, South America, Australia, Europe, Asia, North America. Anybody I'm missing? Antarctica. Fuck it.
I feel like that guy from Bridgerton also is up there.
Haven't seen a frame. No one knows him. I'm not saying if they see him. I'm saying...
Well, because Bridgerton was so huge.
Right. But it's not as big as Trevor's probably been.
No. Trevor's very...
So, he's great looking.
Like it just was so popular because of him.
Yeah.
And apparently they offered him $50K an episode, and he's leaving for the second season. He's just like, bye-bye.
He can make that on the Bachelor. I mean, honestly, like 50 grand.
Yeah, I was like, 50 grand an episode?
Literally, just like go fuck yourself.
He's so good.
So,
and his name's Reggae.
So that's fun. Right there. That's fun.
Does he have it? Maybe doesn't have
he's great
Trevor.
looking. Trevor, I think, has probably more appeal than him because women think they're the only one who likes Trevor.
It's really weird. I'm like, Trevor's extremely good looking.
Yeah.
Go to Trevor. Go to Trevor. Is he married? Is he dating this girl,
Grammy,
Minka Kelly?
The Grammy one. Yeah, that Grammy photo with the nice fro, with the nice Jay-Z 2017 fro. Yeah, I just think Trevor's got to be on the list of like.
Well, he's everyone's smart.
He's smart. He's cute.
And he's nice.
He's nice. He smiles, dimples, hair. I think I guess athletes would be on the list.
They don't.
That
count.
the guy with his shirt off.
I feel like athletes don't count because it's such a they're
Ronaldo.
here for a good time, not a long time type thing. But when we went to my friend who's in love with him, when we went to the show, you set us up with tickets. The in between when the commercial break
between the scenes,
so charismatic.
Hello, welcome to the Daily Show.
There was a little bit of some African aunties in the front row that he spoke to.
There's at taping the Daily Show. There's always at least 3 hijabs now.
I love it.
Literally every single episode I've ever seen, and I pointed out to one of the writers who were like, we started saying his audience is Malala.
Stupid.
Like just Malala, just like every young. It's just is so fucking appealing.
But then he does this brilliant thing, which is it's crowd work, but it's really smart. So he's just like question in the audience.
Yeah.
Question. Just
what do you think of police harassment?
He just says something brilliant. And also like winking at the aunties and
What's funny is and then while he's doing that, they walk me out to do one of the pieces, and it's just like
boo.
Basically, it's just like
it's like
walking into a fucking slaughter. And it's like, this is my friend Neal, and one person will go like, 3 mics.
3 mics.
Trevor, talk extemporaneously again. 1 billion women would sleep with him tonight. I believe that. I believe you could get 1 billion women to sign on. I don't know what, for charity we'll do it. I had another thing I want to say. You know how some people are like shower people? Like they always look like they just took a shower? Kat pointed out that I seem like that because of the show as a shower person. And I want you to know that I only shower right before the show. And so I'm not like one of those wet hair people.
Yes. Okay. I get what you're saying. Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like where you're like, how's your,
always
I'm trying to
wet.
think of a good example. Trevor's not a bad example of it, but
he doesn't.
Yeah.
No, it's people who look a little glimmery.
Yeah.
On the like eyelash hair.
Yeah. There's a good one and I can't remember who it is. Anyhow, Allison Janney always looks like she just took a shower.
Gavin Newsom.
Gavin Newsom's not. It's close.
He's
it's getting there. Yeah. I mean, he's just product. We know he did that. So, this didn't get picked up very much, but Ahmaud Arbery, the guys who shot him got charged with a hate crime.
Yes, I saw
yesterday,
that.
which is like
the
great.
racist 3.
Yeah. Now, okay, here's the question.
They don't look great.
The opposite of Trevor Noah. Those 3.
They look terrible.
Here's the question. Yeah. No, looks, they're similar to Trevor character-wise. The criminal justice reform.
Yes.
Does having extra punishment for hate crimes, I think it runs counter to criminal justice reform, right? And then my other argument against hate crime bill, it's just kind of pandering to just have them do the fucking time. Like,
but sometimes you can get someone on one and not the other.
Oh, is that okay? I don't know.
So adding the more to it just ups the chance of like, cool, we can get him for this.
Another
or we
chip out. Put another chip on the thing.
Exactly. And I don't know, I think depending on where you are in your sentencing, like it gives you more time. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like obviously,
well, that's
this is
what
murder,
I'm saying. Like,
so,
what is the?
So if they can't get him on murder 1 or whatever, let's just say jury wise. They can get them on other things. So I don't have a full problem with it, but I'm sure there's ways it maybe feels like pandering. Like I understand why it feels like pandering, but I
like every crime in some ways is a hate crime. Just about every murder is a hate crime. I mean, do you know what I mean? Like it's not, you're not doing it for any other.
But there is like the only reason why we have hate crimes. Like what if it's just white guys going out and looking for a black person to kill?
Yes. Now, what if it's the opposite? The argument is when we talk about criminal justice reform, I think most people think black or brown people convicted of drugs. And is that all we want? Does punishment work? Are we incarcerating them? Are we rehabilitating them? It's that stuff that we only think applies to black or brown men or women who, whatever, like can't make bail, all the shit that's absolutely wrong. And we think, well, we'll fix that. What about murderers? Like, are we going to give them lower sentences? Are we going to try to rehabilitate them? Are we going to try to put them in a different category?
Well, this country's so fucked. A lot of places in the world, 25 years is the max you get. Whereas
that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Not our max. 25 years sounds low to us for murder. It's like only 25 years.
Yeah.
He didn't get lifetimes, multiple lifetimes.
Consecutive.
It's like he got 592 years.
Yeah.
Like, guys, come on.
We supersize it like we do everything.
So I do think that one, we can't really be in favor of rehabilitation in this country if we also we are like, you're a criminal, you can't get a job.
Right. We're like we're both Calvinist and like you're getting 7 million years.
Right.
And then we try to be Christian. Where it's like we should think about what we're doing. And it's like we'll pick.
Do you want to speak to the family? It's like fuck this guy.
Yeah. So that's the contradiction of all this stuff. Now I'm very happy that what they did was atrocious. It's just
the
death penalty shit. Like who deserves what and how'd you come to that?
I think the problem is it so rarely works this way that when it
hadn't worked yet. That's the other thing.
Well, it hasn't worked, but it so rarely gets to this point. You know, to hate crime. It's actually really hard to pin federal hate charges on somebody. So when it does happen, and this is not a criticism of you, but that's when we want to talk about, is this even effective? What is a hate crime? When it's white person? When it's the opposite way is when we want to talk about these like rules and do they work and should there be exceptions? Should they even, like we're talking about it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'm living in this world of like, what's the right
You're living
punishment
in a different world right now for
like,
the dog.
What should we do for these people? I don't. There's also the thing, it's kind of the joke I do about, I don't know what the fucking sentences are. And I'm not killing people because of the sentence. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like, man, 35 years, I don't got that. I want to kill you so bad. But I don't got 35 years to give away. It's just, I don't want to kill somebody.
Right.
So then it becomes the victims, it's politicians and the victims' families.
Yeah, the victims' families want revenge.
A lot of the time. Sometimes they don't, but most of the time they do.
Most of the time it's like burn, and I hope he burns in hell.
Yep.
So a lot of it's a time to kill.
Yes.
So what do we, I don't know, what do you are you drawing any conclusions through the research you're doing through the pod? Not
the
there
doc,
yet?
No.
That's what I meant.
No, it's just Americans don't want the most effective system.
No. They don't want rehabilitation.
The most effective system is, it's like the most effective system is Sweden. What are you looking for? Not Sweden.
Sweden.
Yeah. Sweden.
What
are you looking to get out of this?
Well,
as a country.
And that, we say we want rehabilitation, but I watched this documentary. It was so interesting. Because it was about child molesters and sex offenders. Mm-hmm. And how do we want to rehabilitate them? And
it's a documentary?
Yeah, it was really good. Should I?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it followed a few of them, but one of the guys owned a company, and he was like, the only reason I'm not, so a lot of the guys just end up living in the woods which is so frightening.
Oh, it's very funny.
It's funny
it's
and
so
like
frightening. It's funny.
Imagine you walk up on like sex offender woods.
They seem like child molesters.
Right. So they all, so because of certain laws, a lot of the time they can't be in certain counties.
Right, and they can't be near certain.
And they can't be near certain. So they can only rent in certain places. Then you have to.
There's a trailer park, right? That's what the documentary is about. There is a documentary about a trailer park that is, I can't remember. That's all.
Not that one.
Okay.
And it showed them all 3 different guys getting that are done with their sentence, and now they have to do like living their life after spending time in jail for their sex offender crime.
Yeah, because they go, you need to check in every neighborhood that you move to and let your neighbors know. The weird thing was explaining to a squirrel what a sex offender is. But these guys had to go around to all the animals.
Neal.
The squirrels, the birds. The owls were like, fine, we get it.
No, so basically it would just, when you see it, it's like, what do we want these guys to do? Because we want them to do, based on all the city ordinances in the state, blah, 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 it seemed like we wanted to tie them up and drop them at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
We don't want you here. We don't want you in
We
any
don't want to
society.
rehabilitate you. We don't want to think about your problem.
We want you to shrivel up and die. And it's hard because you watch a documentary and you feel bad, but then these are people that they're rapists or, child sex assaulters. So I don't know, it was just interesting. The one guy that ended up the best was a guy that had his own construction company, and he could buy a little rent. He can get a rental in the perfect kind of county where he could be close to where he has to check in. And I don't know. It just was. It was just there. What do we do with these people? It's almost like homeless people.
Yeah.
Houseless.
But way worse.
Way worse, but still people who cannot get a job.
Yeah.
And cannot live anywhere, really.
Yes.
Even though they want to.
Most people would say, fuck them.
And they do. And they live in scary, they live in the woods in a tent.
Yes.
It was in Florida, this thing.
So that's.
I feel like a lot of people live in the woods.
There's most of probably 800,000 people in Florida live in the woods in some form, emotionally. You know what I mean?
Stupid.
So I don't know. It's just interesting thinking about hate crimes and extra things, but also criminal justice reform.
Well, then we just passed a anti-Asian crime bill.
Yeah.
Which then you're like, wasn't hate crime all crime against race?
Yeah. And also the interesting thing about which I don't know if we discussed, the guy who stomped the Asian lady on video.
Oh, the guy that was killed his mom?
Yeah. He did time for killing his mom. He did.
How is he out?
He did 18 years.
But that's the thing. In my head, I'm like, why would you be on the streets if you killed him?
Because he costs $48,000 a year to keep in jail, and maybe he learned his lesson.
Well, that's the thing. Don't you always bring up the fact that most people only murder once?
Yeah, once. They don't
if they get out.
People don't like it. And this is another from the what the fuck do we do file. Caitlyn Jenner said that trans girls shouldn't play sports. Shouldn't play girl sports. And so if she believes that, how confused do you think I am just as a person? She has the wrong opinion. And she's
a trans athlete.
She's the most famous trans athlete of all time. And she doesn't think it's right. So it's like as just a regular walking around heterosexual white man, I don't fucking know. I don't even know how to make the calculation. What happens is sometimes a boy or man will transition to a girl or woman, right? And then they'll be playing sports with a boy's body somewhat and against women.
Yeah.
And there was, I believe, a couple of the women have just destroyed the competition.
Yeah. Also, just listen to Tony Henschkel's bit. He like details it perfectly.
Yeah.
Like the examples.
There's
I don't
an
know
MMA woman.
It's an MMA,
there's and they just destroy their. A lot of times I listen to a debate about it. A lot of times they don't. But
a lot of times they don't. Yeah,
yeah.
that's the thing. A lot of the times
that's how bad they were as male athletes, is they can't even. You see that you can't even get behind that joke.
I can't.
So yeah, like. So as just a walking around person, what are the odds I'm going to have the right opinion about this?
But this begs the question: why this is, and I'm going to quote you, such a small problem. It is such a small percentage of our population,
right?
But
if you're at
I don't think there's a massive amount of trans athletes entering.
I
their
can't remember the
non-biological.
I can't
on
remember
like a
the
professional
number.
level.
On a professional level, I think it's minor, but they're not talking about professional. They're talking about high school, college, grade school. And this is, again, I don't know. I literally will never know. I could live to be 1,000 and I will not know the right answer.
Lawmakers can't cite local examples of trans girls in sports. So I don't, it's like.
Yeah, yes, there are plenty of, it is a small problem, but for the people it's a problem for, it's an actual problem. And how should the people involved make a decision about it? How should that government or the governing body of that league?
Oh yeah, I don't know. That's to me, I'm like,
I don't know.
Our pay grade.
Yes.
Because there's too many factors, and a lot of it rests in biology. A lot of it is biological. It's like you're inside your body. Is it like once you go through hormones and once you do this and that, does it have the ability? Is this pre-hormone transition? Is it just identity? Is it?
You know when a fetus becomes a person? I don't know.
There we go.
I don't know. I don't know. I can't even pretend to know.
Good thing is we don't have to know that.
Well, I got something to talk to you about on the show.
He's like,
look, I got a real problem. You got $80? Newsmax apologized to the Dominion guy, the guy that they were lying on. The one they had to say, like, look,
I love that
we have a issue, and it's the Dominion. Like, they just lied about it.
How funny that it was like, you get a $1.9 billion lawsuit. Wait, no,
yeah,
yeah,
$1 billion. And they're like, they directly posted a thing on their website.
No evidence. No evidence.
The guy basically they charged they kept saying on Newsmax and Fox News that a few specific employees at Dominion voting through the election for Biden, and they lied about Trump votes, and they kept saying it. There were examples like, yep, that happened, and then they had to. Then they got sued by Dominion, the company worked for $1.8 billion.
Right.
Billion with a B.
Billion.
And it's like, it's going to be a case.
It's not like this apology is not going to make it go away.
This is not, the apology's feckless because the damage is done. And I hope they lose.
I hope they burn in hell.
I hope they burn in hell. Yes, they deserve to pay.
Yes, they deserve
I hope
to
they
pay.
burn in hell. Anyhow, so good for you, Dominion guy.
Yeah.
The good news is I don't know your name.
I read it as Domino guy.
Domino's
what
guy.
did Domino do?
Domino the rapper?
Domino. Sweet potato pie.
Here we go, Domino. Doc Watch. It's a good song.
That's so good. That's the only one the length is good.
Yeah, it could be a little shorter.
A little bit, but it's there's a reason.
Yeah. We let it slide.
Cool.
Look, hey, we're
here.
cool, man. We smoke grass. We live in the park.
We smoke dope.
We live in the forest and we talk to the animals. Then we smoke dope. And don't Google us because you're not gonna like the results.
Did you watch Couples Therapy season 2?
Yeah. Did you watch?
No.
I'm on episode 9. Actually, I think I'm done. They only did 9.
I was waiting to hear from you if it's still good.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very good. It's just a good fucking idea for a show.
The first season was good.
And they wanted me to, because am publicly a fan.
Wanted you?
They wanted me to tweet out an invitation for people to be on it, like a casting thing. And I was kind of like, I don't want to do that.
You need to pay for the pod, girl. Okay, sponsors.
Yeah. So it's just amazing. It's just amazing to watch people in relationships.
Yeah.
Trying to make it work
when it shouldn't, or when it could, but
men and let's face it, men and women do not belong together. No, it's just hard. It's just like
Greek antiquity.
They did have different. They had a Jewish, like kind of modern Orthodox Jewish couple who they really liked each other, which was like very palpable. The other couples, I wouldn't bet money on. One of the guys was a train conductor, which you never see like him at therapy. And there was the interesting thing was that it was I don't know if they were Dominican or they were Latino, and the guy and girl, and the girl was just she was the hard one, and just was just kind of cold and mean. And it was very interesting to watch.
Interesting.
Yeah. Instead of the class. And he had his own like kind of guy habits, but she was very cold and mean. It was fun to watch. It's fun to watch a therapist break that. Like I was like, oh, I know this type. And then it turned out to be true. Do
you think there's a point, because I feel like relationships are, I don't know, they're made out of glass. Like they're very durable, but they're also really fragile too. Like what point do you think every relationship can come back from?
I haven't found glass durable.
Well, I mean, like it's everywhere in your house. It's in your windshield.
That's plastic, you idiot.
No, but we use it in places where we really need something to be durable.
I still hear it as when like Mr. Glass wasn't about a durable guy. It was about a guy who just.
I mean, I don't know if you're gonna go.
Look, if you're going to go to M. Night Shyamalan, Sam Jackson movies, like why? Like
why
what
even?
What even are you? What even are you doing?
But I'm just saying, relationships. How much do you think every relationship can bounce back if everybody really wants to make it work, or do you think there's some things that it's just too far gone? I
think people either have chemistry. I think you can have chemistry with somebody that's incredible, and that can end. Yeah. You can have social chemistry, and then at a certain point, it just becomes like we've talked about it, falling out of love with somebody. It's fucking terrifying. And it's terrifying because you were like, it was right here. I had it
right here. Right.
I left it on my nightstand. So I don't know. I think people's expectations for relationships are incredibly high. And I think if there were no children, it would be. What
would relationships look like if children just were like seeds we planted in a forest?
Yeah. I mean, it would be so much more. I think both parties would be completely different. The amount of just bullshit guys. It's like women can take a thing and twist it into a plot against them, right? Guys can do a thing where the amount of dumb excuses guys have for reasons of like, well, no, I want to see you, but like not right now. But like I do want just the amount of just dumb bullshit guys are capable of is kind of astounding. It's a lot of lying. It's a lot of lying to not hurt the other person's feeling.
Everyone's capable of that, though.
No, I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm not saying that women are not.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know what you were saying. But yeah, that everyone is. But that's the thing. Some people are not lying to hurt. Some people, I've experienced people that have like the inner voice is just outside of the brain. It's like, don't say all of that. Be quiet. It's enough. Like, it's fine.
I thought you were going to say that people, they're lying to themselves. Like, they don't even know that they're lying.
Too. That's a thing, too. But some people overshare the anxiety and end up saying things that they don't even fucking mean. Yeah. But it's just like, well, no, I just thought like, it's like, Okay, I'm not going to forget anything you just said.
Yeah.
You might, but I'm going to remember what you just said. Why are you saying that? So I don't know. It seems whoever thought of human beings.
The baby thing is the thing. Like, what would it be like? Like, there's a show on HBO, The Nevers, which is about women in, I don't know what year it is, but it's
the one where they have magic.
Yeah, but it's a cool idea, though.
Is it?
Yeah, there was a book.
What's the point of it, actually?
The point of it is, I believe it's based on the book, the Power. It was based on a book, The Power, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, it's not. If it's not based on The Power, they ripped The Power off. Right there, The Nevers based on a book. Well,
The Nevers isn't based on a book.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right
okay.
There.
The Power is women can basically tase men with their hands.
Yeah, I saw the first half.
But it's interesting if every woman could do that, male-female relationships are entirely different.
Well, it's a power thing. You can kill me.
Yes.
That's
and
a lot of
right. And men now I can tase you with my hands, more or less.
Yeah, you just
as a man, I just bigger, better muscles.
Women
with his Bowflex, forget about it.
Women we fall in love with, we date, and we have sex with beings that could murder us and do murder us a lot.
Yep.
So there's it's a great first draft. It's a great script.
Yeah. So I, the baby thing, I think men would be less evasive and women would be less. The ticking clock is a fucking motherfucker. It's just it makes it very difficult for women to just have an appraisal of men that isn't based on but I kind of want to and hedging and maybe let me see. I gotta get married. Marriage is and they would also get rid of marriage because that's the point of marriage, is making that child legitimate. That always makes me laugh. The child wasn't legitimate. What? I also have a theory. I don't know if I've ever told you a license for the marriage license is a fucking license. That's it. That's the only new thing.
Right.
You can fuck now. Go to the church.
Right.
Enjoy the fucking.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only thing that changed. Taxes, I guess.
Yeah. But that's it.
But it's a fucking license.
It's so funny.
They should call it that.
I feel like more people do.
You may fuck the bride.
You may.
I mean, that's kind of that's basically what they're saying. You'll kiss here, but they're fucking now.
Fuck the
they
bride.
can fuck now.
It's so funny.
They can. This is all legitimate now.
Oh my God.
The fucking, it's sanctified. God says fuck and fuck. Couples therapy. Anyhow. Good show. Watch it. Showtime season 2. Go back and watch season 1. Season 1's great. They even did a COVID special. That was good. I think that's why they only had 9 episodes, because they added a COVID special. Last Chance You.
I love
they
you.
did a basketball version, which I like better because I like basketball better. And I think I like basketball players better.
Do they also have a crazy wiggery white coach?
No, they have
I liked him. He was funny.
They have a black coach.
Oh, cool.
And he's like one of those slam. Well, you gotta get up in his. You gotta get in his face.
I like a angry coach.
He's very angry. But not angry. He's just what? Stop it! Crawling on the floor and just he's a bit of a drama queen.
Right.
And it's funny. There's a point where they're all playing video games and they're 19, and I'm still of the mind of all these guys are older than me. Somehow,
so funny.
Because they're so much bigger than me.
Right.
That it was a long time before I would watch sports and go, college sports especially. I still think professional athletes are older than me.
LeBron James is 55.
15 years older than me.
16.
Easily. And Blake Blake's young, but like I had to like
you had to
in order for me to think he's younger than me, I just see him do young. You know what I mean? I just see his first like just like dumb guy shit. But you couldn't tell me. I mean, Chris Paul's 25 years older than me.
No, he's not. Oh,
no,
yeah,
of course
sorry.
he's
I
not.
was like,
but they're all.
I love him.
Yeah, and then when they retire, it's like, oh, Steve Nash is about my age. Right. Before that, he was way older.
He was Biden.
But now he's about my age. It's because framing and associations. Good show. I never watched Last Chance U, and it's good. I've only watched one.
Yeah, they're good.
But they're an hour each. That was surprising.
Yeah, they're long. Yeah. Well, was the first one like that? Maybe. But the first Last Chance U was really good. And then, I don't know, it's kind of confusing. They bounce around to different schools and stuff. But
oh, they do? Okay.
But it was Last Chance U that I realized that how much racism plays still in, you know how like in college sports, it's like, oh, you know, it seems like on the up and up, but the school that they were at just barely let them transfer kids, like let them recruit kids from different states and like out of town kids, because otherwise it doesn't give the white football players a chance because they just over recruit too many good players. And so they talked about that a lot in the first one and like the racist aspects of it. So it was interesting. It's not as purely, it's just not purely football as you'd think.
Well, that's when last year, I don't know if I talked about this, but during the George Floyd thing, an agent called me, a Hollywood agent called me.
Oh, wow.
And was like a white guy. And he was like, look, somebody just got promoted in my company. I think she only got promoted because she's black. And like, it bothers me. Does that make me racist? And I was like, and I go, I don't even know the guy well. I was like, eat it. And he's like, what? I go, have you ever watched an NBA game? Why do you think every team has at least one white guy on the bench?
Right.
It's fucking affirmative action for the fans to get. And he was like, really? I'm like, yes. It's like, do you think fucking Brian Scalabrini's the best player the Celtics could get? And by the way, that's a whole other argument. But like, because he's a great basketball player. I'm sure. I kind of think that there were better guys that were darker complected than
Do you
him.
think that is very prevalent?
I think that it's I don't know if every team has it
because it's Boston, so I'm like, right.
I mean, I kind of believe that pretty much every team in the NBA has a white guy, a kind of token white guy. I maybe I'm overthinking. I know they used to. I know like in the 90s they absolutely did.
Right.
I think probably now it varies from team to team.
Was there an obvious one like this guy didn't belong on the team?
The Bulls had a few big whites, but they played. Bill Weddington and Kukoc and Purdue. The funniest thing is they all become announcers. Every one of them.
All the whites.
All the white. Like I used to say to Blake and Kevin Love, if you guys can't get announcing jobs after this, you're brain damaged.
What do you mean?
Because Kevin Love's white and Blake's mixed. Like, so it's like if you guys can't parlay this into fucking.
It's funny because all the announcers are white and most of the coaches are white.
Yeah.
And all the players are black.
Mm-hmm. And I love
Explain it, Neal.
Make it make
sense,
I wouldn't
Neal.
change it for all the TNG.
Can I ask you a basketball question?
Yes.
Larry Bird. Was he as good as everyone says?
Yeah, he was incredible.
Okay.
He looked like he played like he was drunk and injured.
What?
His body moves like he was drunk and injured.
Why? What do you mean?
He was just like not cool. It was just like sloppy, spinning around, couldn't jump. But the funny thing about Larry Bird is how he was like would talk like there's no racism. Like it's one of those things where like guys couldn't really hate on him.
Why?
Because he was so fucking good that it's just like, all right.
Yeah.
Like I wanna say some white boy shit, but like you just busted my ass for an hour, so I can't really like even in the hey, do me a favor, look up Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Last Dance. Either he calls Michael Jordan a bitch or Michael Jordan calls him a bitch.
That's really funny. Enjoy yourself, dog. You bitch.
You bitch. Fuck you.
I'll give us
you give her over money. Like to call Michael Jordan a bitch, fuck you, is just work on that very funny. Yours.
I love the shit talking.
Yeah. Like just something about that like what the guy's fucking weirdly good. It's like Luka Doncic now.
The Greek?
He's not Greek. There's another Greek guy. But he's like Slovak of some kind. He's so good, it's crazy.
So many Slovak, like Eastern European dudes come in.
They needed the money. They're tall and they needed the money. Honestly, they need it. I mean, it's a good way to get out. It's like the game took off in the 80s and 90s, and those guys happen to be 6'10", but that kid's so good, it's bizarre. It's like his stats.
What's bizarre about it?
Because he's 22. And his stats are just he's averaged 29 points, 9 assists, and I don't know, a lot of rebounds. Like he's just very good and very young and very sophisticated. Just like, and guys can't really fuck with him.
All right.
Yeah. It's like it's kind of just like it's like an 8 Mile thing where it's just like
I was gonna say
it's just reminds me of really good.
Yeah,
like I can't if you physically not physically in sports it's physically beat me, but if you're just what are you gonna do? Reminds me of a time someone on a black sketch show took one of my sketches verbatim and tried to submit it.
Oh my god!
Remember my joke about the last day of slavery?
Yeah.
Someone transcribed it and submitted it on a show. And another person knew, like, that's Neal. And he was like, oh.
People are trying to
but that's
Taco Delicious
yeah, exactly. That happens once, gang. No, it could have happened again. But that's just like it's like a weird form of respect. Like, yeah, if I can.
Yeah.
Emails. Well, we do a segment with emails from what I remember. There's a Dave Chappelle story song.
Another
Dave Chappelle
story from Neal.
Too long, but if you cut it down to just another Dave Chappelle story from Neal.
Not the break
Not
in between another.
We don't need the thing. We don't need the intro or the outro. Anyhow. Oh, we got some audios. Let's do audio questions.
You've got mail.
Hi, Neal and Bianca. I had a sleepover last week. This is relevant because sometime last year, I asked the sleepover girl out. She strung me along for like 4 months, and then we had a big fight after I made a joke about tiny boobs that did not go well. I pulled a Neal and doubled down on the joke because across the period of our friendship, I had said some worse things, and we always just laughed. So I high-key believe that she wanted to say no to me asking her out and was just looking for a reason.
Pause it. What race do you think this guy is?
I believe he's the guy that he was the base for the art of storytelling. He was his muse.
Did they base it on this guy?
He's a Caribbean, Africa.
The art of speculating.
Caribbean, Africa.
Keep going. I have no idea.
Okay, go.
Either ways, we are still friends. There may be some residual feelings. I definitely do not want to let the rejection go because I just want to know why. Do I just ask now, or do I just wait for like 7 years and then ask, or do I just let it linger and not ask at all? Also, do I just move on? Thought out as the top race/relationship podcast. So, how Bianca feel and how Healy thingy.
I don't know what happened.
At the end.
I don't know what happened.
Wait. He's for sure from a French-speaking country.
I have so many. He could be from 30 places to me.
He has a French-speaking accent.
Yeah.
So I know it's French. Martinique.
Yeah, you're not. That's possible.
Can we just tell him?
Yeah, he'll let us know.
Just email back your ethnicity, please.
And nothing else. No video, no audio.
I like his voice.
Yeah, it's good voice.
It's a very nice voice. Miss Small
But he
boobs.
doesn't have. He sounds like he lives in the friend zone.
Yeah, he doesn't have a.
He doesn't have any swag to his voice
He didn't
that
have any
girls would
bait,
be.
like-
Yeah, no bass, no,
No
like
bass.
the fuck, no. What is Jordan Peterson that women like? Testy?
killer?
No, Jordan Peterson, the teacher, the Canadian teacher that people think is controversial. Women like men that are like kind of testy.
Like, I can't hear that guy talking to me while we're fucking.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's too silly.
Well, I think we'll change positions. Pretty good impression.
To art.
Yeah. So I
Move
think, move on. I also think that I think men do this somewhat. I think women do this more than men. Change the rules about what's funny based on their mood and based on like, no, that's rude. But I did that. That was different. How? I don't know. It was different. And you're just going to have to eat it.
Yeah.
Eat it. Move on.
Move on. Also, so funny. One of the options was wait for 7 years.
Well, yeah.
He's silly.
Of course. But I think also you can't make small boob jokes unless she has huge boobs.
If small boob jokes of small boob women
Not gonna work.
are not.
Not gonna work.
If a girl said you had a small dick,
You
and
can't-
made a joke, would you?
If I had a small dick and she made a joke, I wouldn't. That would be our last. That would be our last vacation together. Okay. That would be the last time I almost proposed to her.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't make a small boob. If it's something that they are
There's an
probably
insecure-
insecurity about it, you can't.
No.
Unless you can barely agree with people if they say something negative about themselves.
Right. You're like,
What? I didn't see that. I didn't notice that. Do you have small boobs?
come on. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Hit it.
You've got mail.
Hey, Neal and Bianca, glad my first email made it into the show. Cops in California might make 80 to 100 grand, but cops in poorer states make a lot less. I was part of the best paid agency in the state, making 50 grand with a master's degree. There were cops working way more dangerous cities in South Carolina at the state minimum wage. Imagine being able to quit the dangerous job and go take a job at Costco and see a major raise. South Carolina minimum wage is $7.50.
Damn.
Jesus. You know how long it would take you to buy a house making $7.50 an hour in South Carolina? 2 months. Property value, not great. Bianca said something about being surprised cops listen to the show. Liberal cops are like conservative members of Hollywood. They tend to be quiet about their stances on things just to avoid a deluge of arguments or problems. Most of the cops I know from California to South Carolina love stand-up comedy and listen to every comedian that you've ever mentioned in past episodes, excluding the cops with the egos the size of Texas. Most cops are like Bianca when dealing with the douche filming a homeless person. I gotta say, for the record, I doubt a lot of cops are bumping 3 mics. The sad part.
They're like,
Fast
I
forward to
love
the
that
sad
middle
part.
mic.
Fast forward to the thing about his dad. And Bianca, buy a gun. I had the typical California mindset on guns until I started in law enforcement. Your friends talked you out of it, and you had neighbors who did not check on you or call the police.
Seriously.
If something happened, those would be the thoughts that haunt you. Go get properly trained at a class and not by a friend.
Well, I didn't get talked out of it. I got shamed, so I don't want to
Right.
admit I have a gun. I don't have a gun, but if I did, I feel like I have to
But if you did, where would you keep it? I don't have one, but I would get
tape to my wall. No, I feel like if I had one, I would not want to tell people, but I don't like lying about things or not being forthcoming. I'd be like, I got a gun yesterday. No, it's not cool in California to have
It's
a gun.
also a weird thing of like, I got a gun. It
like-
almost feels like, and I'm going to kill someone in the next
Feels like,
10
and I'm going to
days.
use it if you.
Yeah.
Like-
what do you get? It's a weird, it's basically like an insurance policy that you just put in a drawer and just like, I don't know, in case I need it.
Yeah,
This gonna
I'm
help
like
me
a
at some point?
woman. I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of women who, well, also I have a gun. I throw a holiday party every year at my house. I feel like some people will be like, she has a gun.
I think it's easily hot. I don't know. I think
Do
it's
you
a way
think,
to,
would you go over your friend's house if you knew he had a lot of guns? Would that
I don't know, a lot of guns or a
a
gun?
lot of guns.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I would care. If he was like taking them out and fucking, we should go out and fucking pointing him and shit, I'd be like, like no one would do that.
No.
But I think about, this makes me want to get a gun too. Copycat. I want to be like you. Teach me your ways.
Goodbye. You've got mail.
Neal and Bianca. Big fan of the show here. I watch 3 Mics once a year. And I'm a cop.
Really?
No, I'm kidding. And I'm amazed that Neal can work in so many different forms of stand-up.
Wow. Neal, did you write this?
I'm an architect in Detroit, but otherwise look like an effeminate 15-year-old white boy for context. There's my 3 Mics audience.
There we go.
The middle-aged black dude, this middle-aged black dude named Greg asked me to help him design and build some duplexes.
Wait, hold on.
No.
You did it wrong.
I did it wrong.
That scared me. I was like, am I?
This is actually a great question. Sorry.
Moral
Big fan of the show
question.
here. I watch 3 Mics once a year, and I'm amazed that Neal can work in so many different forms of stand-up. Again, that part remains.
Let's reread it.
That is great, and we love it. Moral question about directing and acting for both of you. Mel Gibson lost a part on The Hangover 2 because the stars complained of working with him for his racist rantings. Yet they had no problem working with a convicted rapist named Mike Tyson again, though. If the studio said you had to pick either directing or acting for Bianca, Mike Tyson or Mel Gibson, who would you choose? Do you go with a violent criminal who has served his time or an alcoholic racist who is sober? If I had to, I'd go with the racist because I know what to expect from them. I'd be more nervous around Tyson because a person capable of rape is capable of anything. I'm not excusing Gibson, but in my mind, violence trumps anything verbal because it's hate in motion. I've been surprised by how many lady friends of mine pick Mike Tyson, though, is because he's a child. He has a children's cartoon. Also, go easy on Sir Ben Kingsley. He's half Indian and was born Krishna Banji.
Yeah, I
got
looked
a few
it up.
of those.
No, and I looked it because I was like, he played an Iranian in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember
In
thinking.
the glass house or something?
House of Sand and Fire.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, wait, maybe he was Indian. And then I went and looked back. So Binks can apologize, my bad. They darkened him. They darkened the fuck out of him, though.
What's funny is he probably wouldn't have gotten the part if his name was Krishna Banji.
100% not.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a fucking, like, in order to play an Indian,
Right, it's like-
to play an Indian, he had to become a sir in England. That's the trailer for Ben Kingsley.
So
what would I rather? This is another thing I'm thinking about a lot is like, it's just a fake, hierarchy and the priorities and like why this guy trusts Mel Gibson over Mike Tyson. Because if you're capable of rape, you're capable of anything. Okay. I don't know how you came up with that.
I don't. Go ahead.
And I think I could make a case for either of them.
I would say Mike Tyson because, like, per what we were saying earlier, I don't believe you should be labeled forever. I am of the mindset of rehabilitation and growth. And you did one thing, so who knows what, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, but he also has done a lot of self-work. And I watched an interview with him. Tyson?
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
And he's even said, if I saw that, in the 90s, like some joke about him, that's like pejorative. He's like, I would have just went straight to like, I'm going to kill this guy when I see him. But when you work on so I feel like I've seen in what little research I've done into both of them, more self-work on Mike Tyson. I think that's why people fuck with him now in Hollywood too. But I don't fucking know. I think
I don't, in terms of what they're capable of, Mel Gibson beat his wife. Like, that seems pretty graphic.
So did Mike Tyson.
Yeah, no, again, but I don't see it as like, well, but the rape, you can do anything
Like,
somehow. It's the stand-up comedy of crimes. Once you do stand-up, you can direct, you can act, right? I think it's just a matter of fake ethics on the part of the actors.
Yeah.
It's fake. It's fake ethics. I mean, you could make a case like, well, Mike did his time. Okay. True. I would argue Mel Gibson suffered a pretty severe punishment.
Which
I'm
is,
not
because he's
can't
still
really
he's
can't
never,
really be in movies. Can't be in
he's
studio
never
movies.
no, he's like in. No?
He
Like
was
producing?
he was 7 years of like not on a poster, not in anything, and I don't know. I think that's kind of good racism in some way, where it's like the same way we want criminal justice reform, but only for black and brown people. It's like if Mike Tyson was white, maybe not. Maybe they're not as apt as Hollywood actors to give the white guy a chance.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know enough, because I think what supersedes both of these examples is like an R. Kelly. You put out a hit and it's like, okay, well, was it that big of a deal? You know? Like if let's say Mel Gibson produced a huge TV show that was great, we would just watch it.
I think Apocalypto came out after.
Well, that's what I said. He didn't fully leave. Like he's
right.
still
He had to make it
produced.
himself, but like he wasn't invited to other people's.
No, he didn't have a seat at the table anymore. But
Yeah.
he wasn't like.
I mean, it's gotten pretty
Suffering
grim in terms of
succotash.
stuff that he's been in.
And I think he's in something coming up.
I don't know.
I saw something and I had the thought,
Braveheart 2.
force in nature. I don't fucking know what that is.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Anyways.
I promise you it wasn't very good.
Braveheart too.
Agent Game, Panama, Last Looks, Danger. It's just like, meh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Should a movie called Fat Man. That's never good. Yeah, it's just gotten, since Apocalypto, it's just gotten like, who? What? Is that real? Bloodfather.
Bloodfather.
So I don't, you could say Mike Tyson did his time. Mel Gibson didn't do his time. I'll say Mike Tyson seems sad just as a person. Meaning
Really?
he seems yeah.
more like, he actually seems like he's done ayahuasca and a bit more centered.
He has. He's done a ton of,
Yeah.
but he seems
Seems
very
more centered.
But he's
Sad?
also cried a lot. His daughter died. Like
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
stuff where he walks around repentant. I don't know how Mel Gibson walks around defensive and angry in the times I've seen him.
Yes.
But I think that it's a double standard,
I'm sure.
because I think if Mel Gibson did actual time, I don't know. Although, like I said, because Kevin wasn't allowed to host the Oscars, he can now be spokesman for a million things. I feel like people go like, well, no, he served his time.
Yeah, so I feel
I don't
like
know. I don't know. I truly do not know.
We're gonna change the podcast.
I don't know anything.
I do not know.
I have a lot of information and I do not know.
Goodbye.
Hey,
You've
Neal
got
Bianca, I
mail.
wanted to comment on the Chauvin trial portion of the podcast. Just wanted to mention the lady who said she didn't want to be a snitch wasn't being a Karen. She said she didn't want to be a snitch because she's a firefighter. She was off duty at the time, was trying to reason/force the cops to let her give CPR. The blue wall of silence extends to firefighters as well as medics. It also includes not telling a fellow serviceman what to do, even when they are wrong. So she felt like a snitch because she was violating the unwritten rule of not telling on others in the profession. Even though she ultimately did the right thing, trying to help and testifying, she could still be viewed as a snitch and get punished by her peers for while at work. I also listened to the episodes Neal did with Theo on this past weekend. You two are great comedic relief together and a good therapy chat. Neal, I think you'll get married someday to someone you love. So don't give up and don't pretend just to be in a relationship. But do know that plant medicine might help you realize she might be a fat chick, still pretty and amazing, just bigger. So don't be too mean about it. She could probably cook you some amazing vegan food. Bianca, you always look great on the show. Neal's just too Hollywood to see it.
Thank you.
I see a mess across from me. That's my Hollywood training. Hope you are all having a great day. Happy spring and get the vaccine. Thank you. Have a great day. He doubled down on having a great day. That was
nice,
kind of useful, but
Yeah.
they don't all have to be questions. Some can just be a nice
just tidbits.
meandering, promoting other podcasts. Yeah, I swear to God, you come on this podcast and you write to us talking about other people's podcasts. That's a betrayal. No, me and Theo do have a funny relationship. Very different and very similar. Very different. The thing I like about Theo is he admits that he's sad. in a way that you wouldn't think because he's like from Louisiana.
Yeah.
And he'll admit to being sad and confused, which
That's
fucking
really
makes
sweet.
me laugh.
Yeah.
I told Theo on one of them that it's like he's carrying wet laundry with him all the time. Just like, I don't know, man. What?
Goodbye.
Neal and B. So here's the Detroit guy.
You've got mail.
I'm an architect in Detroit, but otherwise look like an effeminate 15-year-old white boy. For context, this middle-aged black dude named Greg asked me to help him design and build some duplexes on vacant land he owns in a Detroit neighborhood where he grew up that is bordering other quickly gentrifying areas. On the surface, Greg appears to be homeless. When he first came to me, I asked him where he's getting the money to do this, which would approach $500,000. He then told me the story of his brother who got caught up in a gunfight in 2005, was convicted of murder, and sent to prison for 10 years, exonerated on a DNA test, and won a civil suit against the city of Detroit for $1.5 million. I think this guy raised a good point about the amount of black millionaires there are for being exonerated. I think we don't focus enough. We focus.
You changing the
we
doc?
focus too much.
The doc is now about
all these ungrateful black millionaires who were exonerated on DNA evidence. When he saw that his brother was spending all the money on strippers and watches, he took control of his account in order to invest it, seeing it as the only chance to establish wealth for his family into the future. My question is, do I have a moral obligation to help this dude? I have a lot of reservations about the likelihood that the project would be successful for reasons other than Greg's complete ineptitude in developing real estate. In the best case, I'd help him establish a source of passive income for him and his family in a city and country that has systematically prevented people like him from doing so. In the worst case, I will waste a year of my life holding his hand through the entire process and make no money doing so. A successful new construction rental property requires a lot of work from a development and property management perspective that I'm not sure this dude's capable of. Anyway, would love to get your advice on this and the broader idea of individuals bearing the moral responsibility for reparations by sacrificing their own time and money instead of waiting for the government to do so. Very good question. And speaks to my piece of shit argument from earlier.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, so I used to tutor through the No Child Left Behind Act. They had provisions that was subsidized tutoring for low income families. And so I would teach high school math. I would tutor high school math. And the way they did it was test these kids at the beginning of the school year on things they should know by the end of the school year. See what they know the least. Doesn't make any sense. And then teach them that one subject for a year. That's what everyone thought was a good idea.
That sounds like, speaking of which, sounds like a crackhead came up with that idea. Here's what we do. Well, all right, little man, what don't you know?
It felt like so many politics involved, and the result was just terrible.
Yeah.
But everyone got a little bit of their way. So I would go to these families who mostly were undocumented or low income, and these kids it was like 2-bedroom with 12 people in it, and their child would be failing everything. And I only got paid for 2 hours. I got paid a lot of money, but it was only for 2 hours per kid. So do I sit there and just teach them for 2 hours what I'm supposed to? No, because I can help them on all their subjects. So I would be there roughly for 4 hours each kid.
Right.
Not getting paid for half the time or just making half the money, I guess. And making sure that they got their homework done. And I didn't teach any of what I was supposed to teach because I didn't think it was effective, just so I could help them get ahead in their schooling. And all my students became like the class helper for math.
Great.
I was very good at that. But I had to sacrifice my time because I was you have to be a piece of shit to leave these kids.
Yeah.
So
that's my experience not in the Big Brothers, but yeah, any one of those things where you go is this?
You have the ability to help this person.
Yeah.
It will be, it doesn't fully benefit you, just how we place benefit on things, time, money, all that shit. But
Clout.
No clout. But it benefits you when you're this person will be better off if I help them.
Yeah, this individual. And then you get into where are they now?
Where are
I was hoping to cue Will.
No,
I mean
dare you.
always. But there you go. Yeah, like how much?
Like, do
You ever want to be like,
all of it?
hey, what'd you do with it? What'd you do with our time? Did you parlay it into
something else?
Something?
Did you just, as soon as I was gone, did all your motivation, did it go back to shit? I mean, it's,
and then is that a waste of your time? Like, is that?
It's, you know what it is?
It's impossible to quantify.
It's kitchen nightmares. It's kitchen nightmares. Every time, look up any restaurant that's
they all revert back to where
they're all closed. Every single restaurant on Kitchen Nightmares is closed. There's like a very few restaurants that have been on Kitchen Nightmares that are open.
Yeah.
Still. Because they take the renovated restaurant and they just sell it.
I went to a restaurant or something, and you know when a place is bad for like a decade?
Yes.
They don't improve anything.
No motivation to improve.
And you just go, oh, there's no way to fix this. Yeah. I can get the thing, and the guy or woman in charge does not care.
Exactly.
And has a bad aesthetic. They just have a bad aesthetic. They don't know a good chair from a bad chair.
Right.
They don't understand that people don't want sticky tables. They just, all the shit that you would think, like, somebody's got to be on this. And they just don't. And they can survive, and they might make, as a business, he walks 60 grand a year.
Yeah.
And you go, fuck it.
Fuck it.
Fuck it. Enjoy. Right. I'm not going to support it anymore.
We're not going to enjoy, but.
No, but, or whatever. And whatever verb you want to put on this. But, yeah, some people are, not even some people, everyone is pretty much what they are.
Yeah. So if this person with a lot of experience in development and, you know, whatever, housing, stuff like that, if he can just see from a mile away, like, this guy he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, right. But what does he do?
That's what
as
I'm
a good white.
I think this
in
seems
2021, in
this
in
seems
this
like
era.
the first time. It seems like the first time he's gonna, like, he's dealt with this.
Yeah.
You know, where he's like, fuck.
Yeah.
I think just do it. Do it. And
I think do it. And
then you've done it.
You've done it. You can use it as the beginning of a racist preamble for the next decade.
Wow. Neal's reasoning.
Look, I tried. No, it's like the people who I taught in the inner city.
Right.
Racism. You can be like, look, I tried to help a black. But no, try. I think you have to try. I would also, as much as you can, explain to them how fucking big of a pain in the ass it's going to be. Yeah. Even with a property manager being like, this can either be your 24/7 job, or you're going to get a property manager and your money's going to get cut in half.
Yeah.
And it's still going to be 10 hours of stress a day.
Yeah, it's up to you. There's going to be just some energy lost here. So explain it to him. Take an evening and just, eat it and explain to him exactly what is going to go into this.
Yeah.
Make sure he doesn't leave being like, no, it's good. Yeah, sure. Like, no, listen to me, Greg. Listen to me. This is going to be hard.
Did I tell you? There was a famous basketball player that wanted me to teach him how to direct.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Like Nike asked. And I was like, location scout.
Yeah.
You want to direct? Get in the fucking passenger van with me, and we're going to 8 locations in Simi Valley, in Studio City.
How far did you get?
In Eagle Rock. I never heard back. But it's like, if you want to do it, let's do it.
So fun. Yeah.
If you really want to do it, here's the job. This is the job. Like, it's a pain in the owning property. It's not free. It's much as like passive income. It ain't that passive, even with a property manager.
Yeah, even with the property manager. And if you want a new build, the kind of permits, things, zoning. Okay. Greg.
Forget it. But you owe. It's
Goodbye.
You owe Greg.
You've got mail.
RSTNLE last week. Bianca talked about wanting to purchase a firearm.
Oh no!
And as probably one of the few feelers who owns one, I thought I'd chime in. I like how he assumes. Earlier in the episode, Neal said about mass shootings. I was at Mendocino Farms the other day. I was thinking of gunmen coming in, of like what I would do. This is the exact reason I purchased a handgun that I conceal carry. A few years ago, I was a journalist and was on scene for one of the worst mass shootings in recent years. While there was still ongoing gunfire, in the weeks after, anytime I was in a similar environment, I couldn't shake the feeling that it was going to happen again, but with me as a victim, even though I knew the statistical odds of it happening were practically zero. And after purchasing one, I felt a relative sense of safety. Neal, I found it odd after Bianca mentioned her prior thoughts about purchasing a firearm. Your sentiment was, but I don't really have anything worth stealing, and how disassociated it was to your prior thought of thinking about mass shootings when you were out and about. Curious about your thinking and binking on what this might be. P.S. Neal's 3 mics joke, am I about to smoke this motherfucker when someone cuts you off in Whole Foods when carrying a gun, is totally a thought I've had. Sir, turn the gun in. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to carry a gun around.
I think carrying a gun it's so wild to me. Carrying a gun, I don't, this is like some Lord of the Rings. I don't trust myself with that much power. Do you know what I mean? And I know that's your joke, essentially, but I don't know. No. What?
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a situation that
I've never been in a situation where I wish I had a gun.
Or
Ever.
a gun would have helped waving it?
Like as a cutaway of an off screen. You mean as an off screen line? Like, how about now? Cut to me with the gun.
Right.
Think again. Never.
Yeah.
I remember having this conversation in a green room at my show, and there's a guy named, I believe, Sidney Castillo, comedian, said that he was just in Dallas at a gas station, and there was something where he's like, I wish I'd had a gun.
Texas is different though.
Right. So
I feel like that's a gun. That's a 6-shooter type.
Yeah. So
also,
like
gun at a gas station is not a good idea.
Think again. Think again. It's me outside the gas station telling him, put the gun down. Yeah. So I having been in the desert a little bit, I had the thought if I ever owned a house out there, I would just have a gun in the drop ceiling or something. Just like never. I don't have kids. No, just in case some wild shit popped up. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Like that seems like the kind of place where LA, I don't think I need a gun. Even though statistically I'm wrong about crime.
Yeah, I still don't think statistically you need a gun.
Don't think statistically I do either. And I may have been thinking about at Mendocino Farms.
Why were you doing
it? I might have
while
just
you're
been
eating
hungry.
a
Let's
vegan
be honest.
banh mi? You're just
yes, I was waiting, and I was like, I was waiting for it, and I might have been hungry.
Oh God!
So
if Neal
I'm
gets
not
hangry
myself.
with a gun,
yeah.
Will's dead.
So I still don't need a gun.
I only want a gun because
Episode 103, still don't need a gun.
I only want a gun because I live alone, and if there was clearly I can't rely on my neighbors, and I'm not on the ground floor, so I feel like I don't know. I'm a goner if I don't have something to protect myself, you know?
Yeah, I mean it's like people want to have sex with you.
Huh?
People, let me repeat it.
Wait, what?
People want to have sex with you.
Yeah. Okay.
You're like a Trevor Noah in a weave.
This is my
By
hair.
the way, no, of course it is.
Okay.
By the way, look up Trevor Noah's mom, and if it doesn't look like Bianca, I'll give you $80.
It does not look like me.
It absolutely looks
look
like
up Trevor
it.
Noah's
Looks
mom.
someone. People have agreed with me.
People have young, obviously.
Young, right there. That's fucking you. The third one in. Nope, that's the fourth one.
That's the second.
Right there,
third.
looks like Bianca. That's
so weird to me.
Eye, nose, mouth combination is absolutely it. It's
I'm
the
an
headline
old
is
South
Trevor Noah's
African
mother
woman.
elated over movie.
Okay. Cast me, Trevor.
Anyhow, so nobody, like I said, I have a TV, which is depreciating every day.
It's about your life, Neal. What if someone wants to just come in? But like you don't think about that, but there are people who are crazy.
Yeah.
So let's
There's
just say
bigger
someone...
comics to kill.
Well, what if
Go
they're
kill Jim
dead?
Jeffries. Go kill Burr. Go kill. There's plenty of people. I just don't.
Would you fight? Would you fight?
What do you mean?
Like if a guy had a gun.
What am I going to fight?
You're just going to go out?
I'm yeah.
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
I don't fucking know.
If I sneak up on him, I could do it. But if someone has a gun,
you're sneaking up.
I'm sneaking up like a ghoul.
Neal, sneaking up is so funny.
So
if it was just like, you're going to fucking die, like you're not going to.
No. I mean, I don't know
what
I'm
this
going to.
was Neal's shit ever.
If I have some opportunity,
but
you know what rushing a motherfucker with a gun makes people do? Pull the gun trigger.
You're just going to keep eating your
I'm
sweet
just gonna
green
keep
salad?
offering them Chappelle Show DVDs. And then slowly but surely, I'll tell them stories.
Yeah.
I'll call, we'll FaceTime people.
You're like, I'm going to bring you to ayahuasca circle.
Hopefully it'll just become a podcast. It's like Speed, but I have to just entertain the guy. Or he'll kill me.
His heart rate can't drop.
Yeah.
Goodbye. You've got mail.
Hey, Neal and Bianca. I'm a longtime Wednesday LSTNER. Definitely find myself in Binky's corner most often, but I love arguing with Neal's bad takes out loud on my commute. I'm a 36-year-old woman, married for 12 years. I have 4 daughters, and I'm about to be divorced. The divorce is actually going pretty well, as opposed to running any scorched earth campaigns. We both kind of decided to put the weapons down and sign the fucking treaty.
Love it.
My question is, what does dating look like for a middle-aged divorcee with basically 1 billion children? I'm in good shape, I'm relatively attractive, and I hold up fairly well in the intellect department, but I have no idea what these things are worth on the open market these days after being out of the game for so long. I'm generally attracted to men who are older than myself, but for some reason, only younger guys seem to be knocking on my door. I'm really not looking for any kind of relationship at this point, just trying to figure out how to catch a respectable D every now and then that won't fill me with shame in the morning light. Wrapping this here to avoid getting played off by a long-ass email song. So what say Binks and Neal? Help a dried-out old mom get laid. Eternally grateful for your service.
First of all, she's getting young dudes. You're not that dried out, lady.
Well,
come on.
She's like, they're offering themselves. I think that with older dudes, you kind of have to be like, hey, a little bit with older dudes, because
more obvious.
Yeah, I mean, in my experience, I'd be
with
more
older dudes.
apt. I always waited for women to signal to me. I'm not like I just have to tell you. I've done that like 4 times and it's never worked. It's like, can I tell you something? I actually had a fucking sweet one.
What?
Whole Foods.
Okay.
Year was 2014. I go on my notes app and I write the lady a message and then say like something. I'm going to leave. I just left it in front of her and was like, put your number on on the thing.
Okay.
If you're interested.
Number? No number.
Yeah, and I never heard from her.
Yeah.
Again, you act like, yeah.
No,
what's a good way to do it?
Don't get mad. I'm just saying, putting your phone in front of her.
I didn't like put it on her face. I like, hello, nice to meet you. I have something I'd like you to read. I don't know what I said. It was fucking smooth as fuck.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. That feels a little like pressure.
Swing and a miss.
It is. Yeah. It's better. She's sitting
it's like
by
tangible
herself.
Pressure.
Yes. But I didn't want to waste her time. And I didn't want to be like, put my foot up on the chair and be like, well, what have we here? well, I'm choking. I just went for it. And, it does not work for me.
I don't.
Straight up. I need available sexual energy, and then I will approach.
Yes. I don't mean to make you feel bad, because I do think.
Well, that's just the woman in you. The women think that anything that they don't like, no woman would like.
No, I think for the reasons I said, it's tangible pressure. And as a woman, we want to just, if we're not interested, we want to be able to slither away without feeling bad.
Yeah.
And if you're like, circle yes or no.
She might have given me the wrong number.
Maybe. I just mean circle yes or no type energy is.
It was basically give me your number.
No,
it was a smooth way of saying, can I have your number?
But women also don't like that. Because we feel like,
fine.
Yeah, I don't want to be a dick.
So what am I supposed to do? What do women like? Explain to me how I could have. No, I'm serious.
I am going to. Okay, I'm just saying.
This is like Burr's joke about telling his wife, okay, hit on me. You ever hear that joke? It's so fucking funny. She's like, hey. He's like, hey.
Listen, I'm saying I fully am sympathetic to the fact that men, you know, in these dumb traditional terms, have to hit on women. Mm-hmm. I hit on men for that reason, because I was just having this conversation at the park with my friend, and she was like, there's these guys, and she was like, oh my God, that guy's so hot. And I was like, hey, I just screamed, hey.
Yeah.
And she was like, what the fuck? I'm like, who cares?
Yeah.
At least we either end up the same way where we are at right this second, or you have his number. Mm-hmm. And then we all started talking about just like hitting on guys. And she was saying that I don't want to hit on guys. I want them to come up to me. And I'm like, yeah, but guess what? Guys are also shy. Mm-hmm. Guys also don't like rejection. They're also winging it. So why do somehow as women, we don't have to be vulnerable and put ourselves out there, but a guy should be.
Yeah.
So I fully
What percentage of women do you think are doing what you do?
Very few.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What I'm trying to tell women is that guys are very responsive when you hit on them. You are not a loser. You're not like I had to hit on him. It's not like proposing to yourself, a guy. It's okay. I just my
men
little
are
PSA.
more attuned. Men are more used to getting rejected.
Yeah. So, but you know
that Whole Foods is nothing to me.
Knock it off with
I
still
was right. It was right. It was cute. It was funny.
Ew, shut up. What are you doing?
Guys,
Okay.
I'd suggest doing it. That's all. You can't take a girl's advice on this. You literally can't, because you go, girls need to. So when is this going to start? This new policy of women hitting on men.
No, I just do it. I put my money where my mouth is what I'm saying.
Of course, but I'm not living in your world. 3 hours a week, and then it's gone. You are. It's out of my house.
Goodbye.
And it's about to be out of my house.
Hey.
I'm not. You have to take the shit. I don't.
You've got
Neal
mail.
Binks, RSTNLE. I love you both, and preemptively apologize for the long ass email. I'm just going to skim this because this guy has too many points. Neal's comment during Sky Cop that made a connection between a woman's responsibilities with her female bodily functions and potentially heightened morality was very thought-provoking to me. I had never viewed personal hygiene in relation to morality, but many random musings in my head immediately coalesced in support of it, and I wanted to share it in the event that it helps to develop the theory. To wit, I have always wondered why gypsies... This is Bianca's category.
Oh, no.
Wonder why gypsies were so hated throughout were so hated throughout Europe, notably being the ethnic group next in line after Jews that Nazis were trying to exterminate. I learned that at least some of the historic discrimination was based on the fact that during the Black Plague, gypsies suffered a significant and disproportionately lower mortality rate than the general population, meaning fewer gypsies died. This led to Europeans believing that gypsies possess some mystical powers that allowed them to sidestep the devastation of the pandemic, leading to a distinction as other and the resulting discrimination and prejudice against them. Scholars believe that higher rate of survival is actually a result of their strict hygiene practices, many of which continue to this day. One being the separate washing of clothing based on whether it is upper or lower body, and more importantly, whether the clothes are worn by men or women. Clothes worn by men on their upper body were washed furthest upstream, while clothing worn by women on their lower body was washed furthest downstream by level of filth. That's what we're doing it. Only horses and other animals were washed downstream from women's clothing. The more I hear about these gypsies, the more I like it. Apparently, to this day, gypsies won't put women's underwear in the washing machine with men's clothing. Clearly, menstruation was front and center in their concerns of daily life. Maybe think of how the most serious swear words and slurs in Jamaican are both related to the cleaning of the lower body. Blood clot, and bum cloth, bumbaclot. Did not know that. I'm telling you. Did you know that?
Blood clot.
Bumba clot and
a blood clot is a it's not blood cloth. It's blood clot.
That's what. Yeah, he's put. That's in. Yes, blood clot. CLAAT.
No, he's saying it's blood cloth and a bum cloth, whereas it's a blood clot, like a clot, not a cloth. From what I understand.
You're talking about when Jamaicans say blood clot, what do they mean?
A blood clot, not a cloth.
Oh, they mean blood. Like literally a blood clot?
Like a blood clot. Like you say, like mothers will yell, like, you bumba, like bumba clot is for blood clot.
Like the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is what they've been talking. They've been warning us for years.
For example.
Stupid.
I found that interesting. A friend of mine, every religion has cleaning rituals that are central components of their practice. Christians baptize, Catholics in holy water, the ritual of wudu ablution. In Islam, Jews have the mitzvah for women to go in during certain times of the month. I'm sure there are plenty. Anyway, it can't be a coincidence that the world's major religions that lead billions of people in their understanding of morality also have these major tenets that relate to personal hygiene, often specific to women. That's not the end, if you can believe it. I mean, one of the longest I've ever read. I guess that's it.
And it says, I think all of the above relates to your point somehow.
But I can't rein it all in. So it's up to us. Stitch my crazy thoughts into a scientific theory. You motherfucker. We don't work for you. We work for fucking BetterHelp, radio and talk.
Manscaped.
No, we don't work for you anymore. Thank you. All right. We don't, again, some good, interesting points.
Interesting.
Look up the blood clot thing. What does bumba clot mean? Bumba clot is Jamaican slang equivalent to douchebag, often used in interjection. It's an insulting vulgarity that literally refers to either menstrual pads or toilet paper. So bum cloth, yeah.
Bum cloth. I'm wrong.
Bumba clot, yeah. And what is blood clot?
Yeah, the Urban Dictionary says right there.
Yeah. I'm assuming it's the same.
I think it's either or, so maybe I'm not as good. Yeah. Say sorry.
Blood clot, Jamaican. So blood cloth.
Blood cloth, even if it's blood clot.
They just say clot.
It just say, wrong.
It's Bad Bobby.
Play my song.
In the
so
islands.
Funny.
The Bad Bobby Islands.
Yeah.
Say sorry.
Say sorry. Pinky say sorry.
Sorry.
That's also she's an old Caribbean woman who didn't know what blood clot and bumba clot meant.
Well, it does say blood clot. I just didn't know it meant cloth.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't know clot meant cloth. That's
yeah. She's an old cut that off because she wasn't just an old Caribbean woman.
Goodbye.
Hey, Neal Banks, Vancouver listener from episode 1, shortly after the first time I ever heard of Neal Brennan after seeing you at the Comedy Store when visiting LA with some friends. Quote, this skinny white guy says he wrote for Chappelle's show. What one skit or something, we'll see. That's the nice credit people give me when they see me live.
One
they go,
skit or something.
We'll see about, I don't believe it. Guess you weren't lying.
Wow.
I sure wasn't, sir. Why would I? Also, because you asked, I'm a Tuesday listener when I have enough dishes to do that night. Otherwise, Wednesday. Then you're not a Tuesday listener. Sir, it's Tuesday listeners with absolutely no caveats. Unqualified Tuesday listener is the new. It's an unqualified Tuesday listener. Anyway, Neal, you mentioned a few times that actors are basically dumb, good-looking people. I don't remember if you said what separates them from comedians, e.g. usually writing your own material, having to deliver it in a very specific way to make it work. What else? But what I'm getting at is, what about comedic actors? Where do they fit into your spectrum of intelligence? I can name a bunch of people who are hilarious comedic actors and have never done stand-up and don't write their own material. But I don't think you'll want to bash specific people in the winner's circle, so I'll leave it to you to give examples if you want. I'll grant you that choice. What does Neal squeal and what does Bianca honks? Honestly, this required sign-off competition is the only reason I've waited this long to write it.
Okay.
People are scared.
They're scared. That was
I
good,
mean,
though.
the people that come to mind are like Melissa McCarthy.
No, but what do you think of them?
like Paul Rudd's fucking hilarious.
No, do you think they're just pretty brainless?
No, because they can improv and they can write. They can rewrite scenes.
And you
on the go.
can't teach. It's very hard to teach comedic timing.
Yeah, Paul Rudd, you don't need to teach.
Like that wasn't something he picked up from a class.
Paul Rudd's been funny since he was 8.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd said some really funny shit to me after 3 mics. It was a long story. It was something about his son slammed his like 8-year-old son slammed a celebrity who I won't name. And I go, oh, wow, he really is your son. Because it was like the kind of celebrity. And Paul Rudd goes, yes. And I really love him, unlike your dad. Which I don't think dramatic. I don't think, fucking Anthony Hopkins would have said something that funny.
Very good. God aim.
Yes. So yeah, they're funny, good-looking people who probably have to write at some point.
Yeah.
Like Natasha Lyonne. She do stand-up? No. She's fucking hilarious. She writes the Russian Doll. She's involved, produced, like just involved and shaping how to make themselves funny in a way that's not just like, and then here I'll do a cross and maybe I should cry. Think I should cry? Can I get enraged? It's just your goals are different. And it's kind of almost required at this point.
Yeah.
In comedy. Like you're not gonna.
Very few people are just.
Yeah, like I just show up.
Right.
What do I say? It's not like the 40s.
Right.
Where even the 40s, all those people shape their material. Like
yeah,
the Marx Brothers wrote their shit. The Jack Benny, like they all were like the head writer. Even if they didn't do stand up. So if you're able to head write, that's what separates you from dummies. Dummies. You guys, we did our time.
You guys.
We filled our time. You guys, we got you through another 2 hours and 25 minutes of
27
of your life. I almost put a negative adjective on it.
Positive.
Pulled back. Your wonderful life.
Good one. Neal.
That's it. I think Kat is here. I think I heard the door open. Kat?
So many spoilers.
I know. Kat said Thursday watcher.
Uh-oh.
So,
wild.
Kat, you heard the last letter.
Yeah.
We gotta go.
Play the song.
We don't have to take this.
What a song.
It's so good.
We don't have to take this shit.
Goodbye.